Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Wednesday, and he said Monday night live stream, Wednesday night hobby hangout. So tonight we have got Birdis number 2. This is Adam. So this is Sam's twin brother. So when I say my other oldest son, that's because they're twins. They come in twos. That's how twins work. So Adam, do you want to say hello to everybody?
All right.
Enthusiastic. He's definitely as enthusiastic as his dad. It's a little bit loud. I'm just going to turn that down a touch. It's kind of peaking. So hopefully that's a bit better, folks. Who have we got tonight? Then let's have a look in the chat and see who we've got. So last week people were trying to get Sam to dish the dirt on me, tell stories, but he was pretty loyal. Let's see how loyal you stay tonight. We got Palmsy was in to first. Nice one, Palmsy. We've got Timbo Clev in. We've got Peter Nicholas in. We've got Mark Berracloth saying he'll be back about 9 o'clock-ish. See you when you get in, Mark. We've got Suitor Pumpkin Man saying this is going to be fun. Nice one, mate. Nice to see you. Lord Maiden's in as well. Ortega said he's just popping in to say hi and he'll be watching it on catch up. Thank you, Ortega. See you on the catch up, mate. Which will be now, so it won't really be like catching up. We've got Dirk in as well. Nice to see you. He's saying, shall I start painting or shall I wait? Always start, mate. Always start. Scott Longworth said it's his wife's 40th tonight, so he won't be painting, but he'll be reading the new 40k rules. Is that a treat for her? Are you going to read the 40k rules to her? Is that our birthday treat, mate? Timbo said he already started an hour ago. David Moffat's in. Greetings, BlackJack Arena. Is a lively crowd tonight. It's always a lively crowd, mate. Definitely. Blizzards was in as well. Jeffrey Higdon, good afternoon to you, Jeffrey. Thank you very much for joining the Patreon this week as well. I think you pledged just after Monday's stream ended, so you never got to see your name come up on the screen. But yeah, thank you very much. You should, in fact, you should be able to see it at the top of the screen there now. We've also got, Jeffrey's cleaning up some Blood and Plunder minis. David Moffat's doing pink. Project Pink Chaos Androids is officially started. I think he's painting pink Necrons. You know, the ones I was building earlier on, those fellas over there? Yeah, I think he's painting pink ones. Where else we at? Who else we've got? Dirk's got a hamster to finish. I was just saying to Adam before we started here, I said, if you're not really into kind of miniature games, when somebody says, I've got a hamster to finish, I've started base painting a mouse, and I might be doing some finishing touches on Curly Ann, people might wonder what on earth you're talking about. Tony Howell is in. Good evening, Tony Howell. Super Pumpkin Man said, I hope Andy tells us about his D&D night. It's kind of the perfect time. I'm sure we'll get into that tonight. I very briefly spoke about it for the last 2 or 3 minutes of Monday's stream. But yeah, we'll definitely call on that one. Peter Kuhlman in as well, saying, is the co-host the Bard the best thing about HeroQuest? This is the Bard, but obviously he's had a good shift today. You won't know what that means, do you? There's a guy on the internet who does a video called The Best Thing About HeroQuest, and he's quite a long-haired, massive, big, bushy, bearded Australian guy. Jesus. And I'm assuming he probably looks just like you once he's had a shave of a beard and a haircut. Christian's in as well. Hello, Christian. John Estel as well. Got some druids on the table. Yoakum is in as well. Peter Nicholas is doing his Dread Sea sailed on the Saturday, so he's painting Dark Angels. Arnold's in as well. Good evening, Arnold. Parseval is in too. Flip Movie Maker, hello to you. John Estel says, do you think minis go to someone like Tony and Chia and someone like me and feel slightly disappointed? Do you think they're kind of aware of their surroundings? Is that how it works? We've got Luke in as well from Standard Tabletop. Starky's Man Cave is in. Hello to you two. Laurie McMahon, good evening, Laurie. Andrew Fairbanks is in. Tiberius Wallace is in as well. Tony Booth Leiden. As the chat dies around all over and I have to try and catch up with it. We've got Miniature Adventures saying, good afternoon, Andy and the BlackJack Groupies. Does that sound like the worst band ever? Andy and the BlackJack Groupies. Peter's doing a bit more work on his Redeemer. Simon Parfit's in. He's just going to listen along tonight. We've got Busey in as well. Hello, mate. Luke's doing a bit more work on his Mythic Battles Pantheon. We've got Bloggy in as well, trying to do the dishes. And then he's painting some World War II minis. And Arnold says this weekend gone start on the Iron Golems. Nothing. He's going to start on the Iron Golems. Nothing for now. And Dave Doggy says, evening Codex buying suckers. Good evening, Dave. Well, tonight, folks, as you can tell, Peter Kimmel says, Andy, have you told your co-host about it jumped off the top and where are we at? No, I'm not going to, because we'll see if he says it as well, because Sam did last week. I have some phrases that I end up just saying constantly, like.
Right.
And Sam said the same thing without any prompting last week. So let's see if you get into it. So, Super Pumpkin Man says, "I'm 33 and I still can't grow a beard. My friend's dad called me McElf beard." And Tim says, "Even Andy, Mini Andy, and all." Yes, so you might not have seen Adam before, because Adam hasn't done any like battle reports or anything like that. Or you've been to UK Games Expo with me before. Mm-hmm. You had a broken collarbone at the time, didn't you? So you were kind of like my bag carrier with your one good arm. You didn't really do any filming or anything like that. So yeah, that was quite fun. But yeah, tonight, HeroQuest. You'll have saw it on the thumbnail. We are, if I can press the right button, we're painting up some of these cheeky little fellows this evening. Let me just hold it a bit closer to the camera. So I've got 6 of these to paint. Hopefully we'll get through these tonight, and then we're getting towards the end of the HeroQuest box being painted, and then it's ready for the giveaway. I'll talk about the giveaway tonight because there's a big win on the thumbnail as well. So if you're wondering how you can win, what I'm giving away is my original copy of HeroQuest from years ago, 30 odd years ago I think it is, but I'm painting it all up. I've stripped it all back from my 10-year-old painting experience. I mean, painting them when I was 10-year-old, how bad they were. They've all been stripped back, they've all been primed, and they're all being repainted now. So if you win that very precious of mine HeroQuest set, it'll be all fully painted, ready for you to just play your games. So yes, Tim's saying he bumped into us outside of UK Games Expo. So yeah, you probably remember. Yeah, it'll have been the one kind of with an arm and a sling. You'll remember that, mate. Pomsy said, "Are you going to re-shrink wrap it? If you want to shrink wrap, mate, I will shrink wrap it if you're the winner." And Peter saying, "I have an army of those tiny little orcs. They're one of my favourites still." So I think one of our very early hobby hangouts on a Wednesday, we were painting up these fellas, weren't we? So they all got done and finished. I'll zoom in just a little touch here. We'll get a bit closer. So yeah, so that was them folks done. So that gives you an idea, kind of. I'm not the best painter in the world, but they're good enough to get going. So, Luke saying, excluding the ones that you only have a single mini, which of the minis from HeroQuest is your favourite? I quite like the skeletons, if I'm honest. I quite like the kind of old school kind of standing with the kind of scythes across the top. They're quite nice. Andrew Fairbanks is saying, how do we enter? I'll get on to that in a little bit, mate. How you can enter. And Lee Burns says, evening all, looking forward to some classic looking minis. Yeah, it's nice to get a bit retro in and get painting. So we'll crack on. So over to you, big man. You can keep an eye on the chat now. We're up to there at the bottom where Standard Tabletop is saying, yeah, those skellies are nice. So you know where we are. Mm-hmm. Arnold says, are we obliged to strip them down as well and repaint them? If you don't like my paint job, mate, you can do what you want with them once if you're the winner. Peter says the only HeroQuest minis he painted or repainted were the orcs for October. Have to get the rest, like the zombies, painted. Yeah, I always had this kind of idea of like I would kind of get the set painted eventually. It was one of those projects that sat on a shelf. The game never gets played. I never did anything with the minis, and the whole lockdown thing and that. I just thought, right, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna revisit kind of something that I should have done years ago. And then I decided that basically what we'd do is when we reached 100 Patreons, that would kind of trigger the giveaway. Now we reached 100 Patreons faster than I could paint the set. I was quite surprised we reached 100 Patreons that quickly. So the plan now is that anybody that was a Patreon at the time that I reached 100 Patreons is eligible to enter, even if they subsequently decide to change their mind and no longer pledge. If you were a Patreon when I hit 100, you are automatically in the draw to win. However, if you're not a Patreon and you want to be in with a chance of winning this fully painted HeroQuest set, if you become a Patreon between now and the time that the draw takes place, you will be included as well. If you come in for a month and you decide to leave, you won't be entered into it. You need to be a continued member at the time when the draw happens. So yes, so basically Patreon, I'm sure Christine will be sharing the link. You can join the Patreon group from $2 per month, and essentially this is now my full-time job. This is what I do. Somebody has to pay for his education, so So basically, that's how I fund the channel. That's how it works now. So you can join from $2 a month. There are pledge levels all the way up to $20 a month, and you get extra bonuses for different pledge levels. At $2 a month, you get access to the Discord group. At $5 and above, you get your name at the end of every video. You get a podcast, a Patreon-only podcast every month. At $10 a month, you get all of that stuff. You also get a mug as well, a special Patreon mug, which, can you reach that mug for me, please?
This one.
You get one of these Patreon mugs. Oh, I can get on the screen there. After 6 months of support, and every subsequent 6 months after that, you will get a mug with a different design on the back as well. And then at $20 per month, you get all of that stuff as well. But you also get a T-shirt as well, an exclusive Patreon T-shirt. So there you go. That's how it works. So basically, if you want to help support the channel, if you want to help support me, and also get in with a chance of winning a fully painted HeroQuest, $2 a month will get you into that draw. And if you're wondering how long it's going to take me to paint them, they're nearly finished, to be honest. So that's why I'm painting them on the stream tonight, really, just as a bit of a last push to give anybody a chance to say, oh, I didn't realise that's what I had to do. I would have taken part if I could have done. So that's why I'm painting these on the stream tonight, to get some of the last ones done, and then you know all about it. So, Andrew Fairbanks has been meaning to become a Patreon. Also noticed how close the Facebook group is to 1,000 people. Yeah, I did say if the Facebook group hit 1,000 people by the end of this month, I would do a giveaway. But I don't think we're quite going to make it. We're slightly short of 1,000 people, I think. But yeah, there's a few people in the chat tonight who are already Patreons, and I'm sure that if anybody is wondering, is it worth it? Do I get value for money? I'm sure those folks will tell you. They'll tell you no, but they do it anyway. Or they'll tell you whether it's worth it.
It's honest.
Honesty, that's what you want. You know, I'm not going to try and bullshit it. Let's be fair. This is where I have to keep remembering to be on camera. So, all right, what we got, Adam? Anybody seeing anything there? What's Arnold saying there?
Arnold's saying might as well do it. It's getting real expensive hogging my spot on the screen.
So what Arnold seems to do on every live stream is he donates through the super chat. Mm-hmm. So he likes to have his name at the bottom of the screen there. Right. So if somebody else donates, then he donates again to get his name back on the screen. Right. So yeah, the Patreon is definitely a cheaper way, mate, than trying to hog your place on the screen. That's for sure. And if you pledge at the right level, mate, you'll get your name on the end of every video. So there you go. You'll always have your place at the end of the screen then.
Probably be cheaper than constantly donating.
Shh. We're talking honesty here tonight. John Estel says the Discord is well worth the $2 a month. Good chat, nice community, and unfiltered Andy. Yes, it is me unfiltered. So what? Not that I'm any different really on here on screen, and not that I'm really any different in the Facebook group, but yeah, I tend not to disclose everything in those public forums. Not as pictures are naked, like there's no nudes on there. It's not that kind of disclosure. But yeah. So then, Adam, you're here on the stream. What made you come on tonight, mate?
I've got no idea.
You just decided. I never get a chance to hang out with my dad at work, so I thought I'll come and see what he's doing. Pretty much. Yeah. So you're a gamer, as in you play a lot of video games. Mm-hmm. You've kind of dabbled with kind of tabletop gaming, haven't you, in the past and stuff? I mean, we've played board games. Yeah, we've done board games and stuff together. Mm-hmm. But do you want to tell the good folks what game you used to play, or what armies or anything like that?
Well, I played Orcs for 40k a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then I picked up a few Necrons.
You did pick up some Necrons.
Didn't really last much.
You what? Sorry.
Didn't really last that long, did it?
It didn't last that long, no. But yeah, that was kind of your foray. I remember you definitely being more into your Orcs. Yeah. You used to. I was just saying last week, so Sam had his Imperial Guard at the time, and I remember the 2 years. You used to have like cabin beds, and and I always remember you like kind of like climbing up the kind of like the ladder thing into your bed at the top, like a bunk bed type thing, and then like sort of sitting there reading your Orc Codex.
I never won like.
No, no, we never ever won. That was part of it. But so you've dabbled in it in the past. Do you think it's something you'd ever kind of get back into, or are you ingrained in?
I was looking at it a while ago, but I haven't really.
I was saying this last week as well. We played quite a bit of Star Wars Destiny, didn't we? The card and dice game.
That was good.
Yeah, we played quite a bit of that. You've got a very quick analytical mind, though, I would say. Like, so you play like a lot of things like League of Legends and stuff, don't you? Where and you used to play Hearthstone as well, didn't you? Bit of Hearthstone. And I think you've got one of those minds that you can work out those combinations quite quickly. I don't work like that at all. I basically I just roll some dice and make the pew pew noises in my head and stuff like that. You're definitely more of you're not like a power gamer. You very, very quickly work out the most optimum way to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing, mate.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. So you've not really done a lot of painting, have you? But
No.
we were just saying, like, I think like maybe next week or next time you're on the stream, if you want to do it again, we'll get you set up with some painting. Sam wasn't the slightest bit interested, but you seemed a bit more interested like 10 minutes before we started.
I enjoyed painting more than I did playing the game for most.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I really knew that. So, can you remember much about the orcs? Did you have a favourite orc model or anything like that?
I don't remember anything.
No, just too long ago
It
now.
was a really long time ago.
Yeah. Right, where are we up to a little bit? Let's see.
God knows now.
Timbo was saying, what you playing at the minute, Adam? What video games are you playing?
Mostly League of Legends. I picked up Persona 5 today, so I'm playing that through now.
So yeah, League of Legends, you're quite a committed League of Legends player. What rank are you, for those that understand it?
Gold 3.
So yeah, you're pretty serious when it comes to League of Legends. But look at that, folks. Paint on a mini. So I've got the first one, and here you get to see for the first time. Look, these new red grass games, removable heads, and then I've got these ones all lined up, ready to go. It's a bit of a game changer for me. That like having nothing to mess about. Arnold donated €2 through Super Chat. He says, "For now, get my name up in lights." So let me just turn my volume down a little bit here, so it doesn't jam. Otherwise, it'll come back on the microphone. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Arnold. Tim's saying, "What platforms do you play on, Adam? PC, Xbox?" PC. Yeah, you're pretty much a PC player these days, aren't you, mate?
Yeah.
Quite heavily into his PC and fancy graphics cards and fancy setup and that kind of. As you can see from his gaming chair there, kind of thing as well. Like, I'm pretty much sitting like an old office chair here, like, and he's got like the fancy gaming chairs dragged in from his room. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm on like I'm using like a cheap like £85 monitor. And he's got one of those massive big widescreen, ultra wide curved screen things. Yeah, definitely a bit more serious when it comes to gaming than me anyway. So, Timbo was saying he used to play Dota 2 but never tried. LOL.
I played like 10 hours of Dota and it was the most confusing thing I've ever played. So
was it really confusing? Was it? I've never.
There's like a delay before you turn around. So like.
There's a delay.
Yeah, you have to wait for your model to turn.
Wow.
It's really weird.
Might as well play Warhammer if you're waiting for model to turns. Yeah, we'll do it that way instead. So, well, if you're more keen on the painting side, Adam, I think we need to get you set up with a little painting station, and you can do some paint streams and stuff.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, because the Monday ones are more like we normally have like a topic and stuff, so we talk about something more specific. Mm-hmm. And you've been in a few of the streams, haven't you? You've kind of just tuned in. Yeah. You've tuned in and watched really. Mm-hmm. Watching your dad make a fool of himself, and then you've just kind of. But yeah, Wednesdays are a bit more just random, a bit more rambly, and a bit more just. I'm just sitting painting, and folks are kind of sitting painting, and we talk about all sorts of stuff. Thordlum's in tonight as well. Good evening, Thordlum. Wraithface says, "How do you strip resin miniatures?" You can use. I use what's called clean spirits. So clean spirits is basically like it's like white spirits, but it's a bit less harmful. I think it's water based as opposed to alcohol based. It's the kind of stuff that you like clean paint off, like sort of PVC door frames and things like that, and plastic windowsills and stuff like that. You can clean sort of oil based paints with like brushes and stuff. And I normally put some of that into a jar. I'll put my miniatures inside it. I also now have a ultrasonic cleaner, so I can do it through the ultrasonic cleaner. But all that does is speed it up, really. You can use Dettol as well, but the problem with Dettol is one, it stinks, and two, you kind of have to wash the gunk off with Dettol as well, because if you use water, it kind of goes through like a horrible like jelly stuff. It's weird. It's really weird. So yeah, you can do that. Chat's moving a bit faster now. I'm trying to catch up. I'm sure somebody asked me a question. Yes, Luke was saying, do you own or have you ever played Mythic Battles Pantheon? No, neither, mate. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I've obviously seen the minis you've been painting, and the minis look fantastic. And I've heard loads of people saying it's one of the best games they've ever played. But no, it's just never had the chance, mate. To be fair, never had. I think it was kickstarted before I even really got into the Kickstarter craze, really. So I never really got an opportunity to give it a try.
Well, else do now?
You lost the plot now.
I'm completely lost.
You see what it's like for me now when I've got to like watch, paint the middle and paint a mini, watch the chat. And you had one job. Luke said he can't be bothered to paint. Instead, he's going to browse Goblin Gaming and decided I want to get back into Necromunda. Necromunda is they've got a really nice kind of miniature range. It's a game that if I sort of had like a local sort of player base that just wanted to kind of play through some cheeky little campaigns and stuff, I think I would kind of play Necromunda. But it's definitely a game that rewards you for putting like kind of time and effort into it. It's not something that you play like for an hour one night and then don't really play again for multiple months, like the way I play half of my games. I like to play a variety of stuff. For those wondering what paint I'm using here, I'm using a very, very old GW Dark Angels green. It's just going to be the base colour, and then we'll lay it up from there later. Super Pumpkin Man saying I never finished my Orc army, but it was a base on style of music, the Daiko War Boss and the Rocket Roller Skate Storm Boys. So Adam, talking about music, then what's your musical tastes? See if we've got any fans of your music tastes.
Pretty much just metal at this point.
Pretty much metal.
Yeah.
You've been to quite a few kind of like sort of live bands and stuff. You've been to Download Festival. Mm-hmm. You were supposed to be going this year, weren't you?
Yeah, but it got cancelled.
But it got cancelled. Yeah,
the lineup was really good as well.
What was the lineup this year?
System of a Down, Disturbed, some other stuff as well. But it's kind of thing on the top of my head.
Yeah, some good stuff though.
Yeah.
I think I saw Ty Beavis was in the chat there earlier on as well. He's a good metal fan. I know. I think to be fair, I'm probably the only one that's not. Most people are metal fans. I think. Yeah. Tony says Persona 5 is awesome.
I'm loving it so far.
So did you say it's an old PS3 game?
It is, yeah.
And you just playing it on PC
I got bought the PS4 as well, and it's had like a re-release not too long ago. And
you're playing it like through an emulator thing on PC.
Yep.
Is that illegal? Should I have said that? He's playing it through an old games console.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I can't remember much about it. I remember the name, but I don't know much about the game itself. Is it like what kind of game is it?
It's a JRPG. So.
Oh, you instantly lost me there as soon as you said the letter J. I kind of get away with things like Final Fantasy and that kind of.
Yeah, it's a bit like that.
Yeah, is it? That's exactly what I was just going to say. Is it like that? I think we were just talking about this tonight, weren't we, about playing different video games? And I said, like, generally, if it's something that I can't just do like a half an hour blast over every now and again, I tend not to have the time to dedicate to kind of like RPG type longer player games.
That's it, isn't it?
So you're studying A levels at the minute, mate?
Yeah.
And at your college, your sixth form college, is there anything like? Did they have like any like board game groups? Did they have like miniature game and anything like that?
Nope.
So Is that because you're at a Catholic school? Do they think it's the work of the devil, or is it just, or is it just like the kids are not really into that
I
stuff?
don't think there's many people like nowadays that are into it in terms of like my age.
Yeah, you're like you're 17, nearly 18 for those
Yeah.
that kind of don't know. So, yeah, it's interesting that because I mean, obviously, these kind of games and stuff like kind of survive on an influx of new people, but it's interesting whether they kind of that age group's really kind of getting access to it, whether they're slightly even interested in it. But I guess like your kind of age group, I suppose, probably more aware of Warhammer these days from the games and stuff like that.
I think so. I don't. There's a lot of my friends that have heard of it, but I don't think any of them have actually went out the way to play it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's one of them things that I think as a younger person, you go into it probably one of two ways. Either you've got a parent that plays, or like an uncle or an older brother or something like that, or you've got a friend who's got an older brother or an uncle or you know like a sister or somebody or something that plays. It's quite. It's not like it's kind of in a toy shop or something like that. It's not advertised on TV. You kind of need to know about it, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Which is quite interesting, really. But I'm sure I've skimmed over. But oh, there it is. I knew I'd seen the name in the chat there. Deb's with Hobby Studio. Good evening, Deb. How are you doing? I caught about sort of seven minutes of your video this evening. I haven't watched it all the way to the end yet, but it was absolutely fantastic what I've watched so far. Anybody that hasn't checked out Debsworth's Hobby Studio, I'm sure Christine will put a link to the YouTube channel. Please, we've got 68 people in tonight. I would love that 68 people to go over and check out her video. So like a lot of the kind of videos I've done about kind of encouraging new people to get started in the hobby, and like my video about kind of like tabletop standard doesn't exist, and like basically the only standard you paint to is your standard, that type of thing. Dev's made a video tonight, which is essentially about what it's like for somebody very new to the hobby to kind of come in and be surrounded by people who are kind of, you would maybe say experts, people that have got a lot of experience, and what it's like when somebody tells you like, or you're doing it wrong, or that's cheating. Basically, I think the example that Debs uses is basically about being told that basically that dry brushing is cheating by somebody that was obviously a lot more experienced, and probably should have kind of known better than to try and put off like a new painter or a new person to the hobbyist. It's a fantastic. Simon Parfit pledged via Patreon. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Welcome to the Patreon gang. Don't forget, if you're a member on Discord, you should get a link to join the Discord channel. So please go and check out Deb's video. It's really interesting to see that side of it from somebody that's relatively new to it, and how it feels to really start from the beginning, because some of us have been around for far too long, and you kind of forget how difficult it is. And especially in this day and age, like, there was no Facebook and people kind of like sort of openly criticising your painting and your miniatures and stuff. When I first started, like, you might have shown them off to kind of guys down the local club or something like that. Like, we remember going to like a local gaming club, didn't we?
I think I went a few times.
Yeah, and we used to like sort of take your minis along, and you would show the other guys and that at the club and stuff, and people would be generally sort of quite nice about it, because it's a lot harder to stand at somebody face to face and go,
yeah, I know,
nah, it's garbage. But this day and age, people seem to feel the need to be brutally honest, even whether it's even when they're wrong. So yeah, it's a fantastic video, and I do urge every single one of you to please go and check it out. Tim says you've got a ton of games to play. Pile of shame that reaches the clouds. So naturally, I started playing another playthrough of Skyrim at the weekend. Orc Juggernaut. You've played Skyrim, obviously, haven't you?
Yeah, I went back to it actually a couple of weeks ago.
Did you? I was just going to say, is it a game that you go back to as well?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like Skyrim? Is it like so? Do you prefer that kind of like us? I suppose even League of Legends is quite fantasy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer fantasy stuff over like sci-fi stuff, or
most of the time? Yeah, it's just a lot easier to get into. I feel like with sci-fi, it's all just really weird.
In what way? That's interesting. That because I think I know what you mean, but
I feel like you can be more diverse in like a fantasy sort of game. You can have a lot of options what you can do, because you're not really limited to anything. Where with sci-fi, it's all like technology and stuff, and it's like really predictable.
It's kind of interesting, because I always think that like even in tabletop gaming, to be fair, I think when you're playing a sci-fi game, it becomes about like it becomes about the weapons and about like how powerful this laser is versus somebody else's like something else.
But then that just gets like repetitive.
But
If you know what I mean?
yeah, but in a fantasy game, I tend to find that it's like, yes, you've got magic and stuff, but magic isn't always like magic feels like it's kind of limited in some games.
Yeah.
Like it's not like this just mega laser that never ever runs out. Like you can only cast like every so often, or you have to kind of recharge and things like that. I think it does bring an element of like more story based to it. I think sometimes, and I was never really into the fantasy side of things, but I think over time I've tended to like kind of understand a bit more now. I think and fantasy intrigues me a bit more than it used to. Who else we got? Palmsy's saying at the moment he's trying to finish Shenmue 2. Wow, mate. Luke's saying I used it all for Resin Minis as well. New ultrasonic cleaner works like a charm. Yes, mate. Mark Wright, even everyone, is just travelling. Oh, I just jumped off my screen there. Where the hell did it go? Wow, that really did jump off the top of my screen. That's one of the things apparently I see a lot. Jump off the top of my screen. And now you've just seen it happen. You know exactly why it did. I can't even find what it was he was saying. Where's it gone? Oh yeah, there it was. Mark Wright, just travelling back from Essex to Worcester. We'll catch up later. Okay, buddy. Luke's saying, yeah, it does stink. Tiberius saying, Dettol takes top layer of skin off. Yeah, you've got to wear gloves. It's not very nice, actually. Timothy Alacon, how are you liking Persona 5, mate? How long you been playing it?
I've only played for about 5 hours-ish. It's been really good so far, though.
You say you've only played for about 5 hours, right? That's probably about 4 hours longer than I play most games.
Yeah, the game's really long, so...
No, I appreciate it. I'm just kind of like... It's like that's the kind of like the level of... the level of dedication I've got to video games at the moment. We were just talking about it tonight, though, weren't we? Saying like now this is kind of like my job, so I kind of hobby all day, and I love doing it. I need something else basically, so that I have switch off time away from this kind of stuff as well. So I've started reading more. I've started reading a Jack Reacher book this week that I'm kind of blasting through because I'm really enjoying that. But we were talking about maybe trying to like pick up a video game that me, you, and your brother can play together and stuff, and kind of hang out and do that stuff. Like as a bit of a mental switch off. So yeah, no doubt we'll find something we can play together. Wraith Face is in as well, saying clear spirits and possibly Dettol. Thank you very much. Was always a bit cautious when stripping resin minis in case they melt. Yeah, you've just got to be careful with some of these kind of like the chemical cleaners that people sometimes recommend. Shadowcat says evening all. Good evening to you. Lee Burns says what green's that, Andy? I don't know whether I've already said, mate, or whether it was before that, but it is it's a very old Dark Angels green, mate. I mean, it looks really dark in the pot, but actually it thinned down nicely. It's almost a little bit transparent, and it just gives a nice base layer to it. I'm going to be using some other old ones as well here to highlight up. So I'm going kind of old school with some of the paints as well. So if you are the winner of this in the long run, it'll have been painted with some old paints as well, or old to me anyway. Phil Tollis is painting 40 Necron Warriors Telsar Blue. I like that Telsar Blue actually, it's a nice colour. Lee Burns says, have you tried Orc Flesh Contrast? I have tried Orc Flesh Contrast, mate, but actually because I started painting this one, so what I wanted to do when I was painting these HeroQuest minis, I almost wanted to have a bit of an old school feel to them, so I've not used any washes, and I've not used any contrast paints. I'm trying to do it like almost as a little kind of challenge to myself, really. Just go old school and try and do it the best I can, without using any paints that probably wouldn't have been around when I picked this up, like from not colours wise, but like sort of speciality paints, if you like. So yeah, just as a bit of something a little bit different. Where are we up to now? Timbo saying, yeah, a fellow metalhead. Nice one, mate. What's your favourite bands, mate?
Disturbed, Sabaton, System of a Down, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to reach out with some other stuff, but it's kind of hard to know where to look, if you know what I mean.
And your mind's gone blank. So if anybody else is into those kind of music, or likes that kind of music, what we say, System of a Down, Sabaton, Disturbed, that kind of stuff, anybody got any good metal recommendations for Adam to to check out some new bands. I'm sure somebody will have some good recommendations for you, mate. So who's the best band you've seen live then? Because you've seen quite a few now.
Maiden's really good live.
Iron Maiden. Yeah. Where did you see them at?
I'm not sure.
Not remember now.
I think it was Newcastle.
Oh, was it? Yeah. You seen them at the arena?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, you did. I remember now. Yeah, you did see them at the arena. And did you see Guns N' Roses? Did you
download?
Download. That's what I was going to say. Did you see them at Download? Yeah, that was my first ever live band. I went to see Guns N' Roses. So there you go. I had a good. Who was your first? Can you remember who your first?
Sabaton.
Sabaton. Oh, you went to Manchester to see them, didn't you?
I did see AC/DC beforehand, but that doesn't really count.
It doesn't really count. You saw AC/DC and it doesn't really count. I took you to see AC/DC, didn't you?
Yeah, you did.
We went to Wembley Stadium, didn't we? You and your bro. So yeah, I inducted you with a good hobby, with a good musical tastes. You've just got different. You're more metal now. I would definitely more. I wouldn't say I always think of metal as really quite heavy. Like when I hear stuff like Sabaton and stuff, it's probably a bit heavy for me. Mm-hmm. But I like things like kind of like Guns N' Roses and like I think I'm more kind of like probably like 80s and 90s metal as opposed to stuff now. That's probably where my head's at. Where are we at? Debbie was saying I would kill to go to Download. Missed out on Disturbed tickets last year. Yeah, you go to Download last year for the first time.
I think so. Yeah. Might have been last year or the year before. Actually, I skipped last year I think because. The
lineup wasn't really what year.
I don't know. I think I was away.
Oh no, you were doing your GCSE exams.
Oh, aye.
Yeah, that was what it was.
That makes sense.
Yeah, your mum had said you couldn't go because you're in the middle of doing your GCSEs at the time. That's what it was. You went to Download the year before, wasn't it? Yeah, and then you had tickets to go this year as well. Did you get your money back for your tickets? Did they refund it and stuff? Yeah. So that's not so bad, is it? So, Luke's saying there, metal and minis go hands in hand. Yeah, Christian's saying, I'm not a metal fan either. Christian, are you not a metal fan, mate? I always assumed that you would be, mate. I don't know what's your musical taste then? What kind of music are you into? Is it some kind of something obscure, or are you going to tell me it's like Little Mix or something like that, or like something I wasn't expecting? Super Pumpkin Man says he listens to Disturbed and System of a Down. Right, Mr. Super Pumpkin Man. And what else would you recommend? Shadowcat, 9 Inch Nails. Is that your kind of stuff?
Never heard.
Never heard of 9 Inch Nails?
Nope.
Wow, even I've heard of 9 Inch Nails, mate. Yeah, I would. In that case, I would recommend it. You give them a try as well. Then. I think I know them more from is it Hurt? The song that they sang. They sang a song called Hurt. I'm pretty sure it was 9 Inch Nails now, and it was covered by what's he called again now? An old guy, and I forget his name. And in his version of it, the cover is probably more famous now. But it was really, really good song. Palmsy's into Sonata at the minute. Sonata rock. Sonata metal. Barry Kleiber's in as well. Had a crazy day at work. Good evening, Barry. Tony Blue Lighten says Disturbed's version of The Sound of Silence is better than the original. That's the only song I know Disturbed from, mate, to be fair. And I think it was you that showed me it. It is unbelievable. Yeah, it's unbelievable, his voice in that song. He's got a really amazing vocal range. Johnny Cash, that's the one, mate. I couldn't think of his name there, and it's his Johnny Cash version of Hurt is better than 9 Inch Nails. I knew that was the song, but I couldn't remember who sang it. But I think what makes it, like, it's a really quite like sort of like, it's a really sad and like obviously quite not depressing, but it's like about like somebody like hurting themselves. Who's obviously going through some struggles, but I think like Johnny Cash, I think he died not long after the song was released, I think. And so it was kind of like that was the song that got played a lot, like after he died. Even though he sang lots and lots of famous songs. You've heard of Johnny Cash,
of course.
Yeah, I just got to check. You know what I mean? I do remember you're quite some years younger than me, obviously. Me being your dad and all that. So we're got slightly different musical eras. I have to just, not that I was Johnny Cash fan, to be fair. Like, he was a bit before my time. Blizzard's has seen you watched it earlier and posted the link in the Discord. I did see that you'd posted that link, mate, as well. Yeah, it was definitely worth, definitely want to share. So I appreciate you doing that. David Moffat, cheating in painting is a weird concept. It's not like there's rules in art. There's no such thing as cheating, mate. Yeah, I don't want to kind of take away the subject really from Debs. I'd rather everybody went across and watched her video and kind of commented on that. But yeah, I think my feelings on it's pretty well known. Like, there's no such thing as cheating. There's just getting it done, and however you get it done is the right way. As long as you're achieving the standard that you want to achieve. I always, the way I think of things like cheating and stuff like that, it's just like, I always remember when I was an apprentice. So here's a bit of a story for you. When I was an apprentice electrician, and there was a guy I used to work with, and he was one of the laziest people I had ever met in my life. And whenever there was a particular job would come up, my boss would go to him and give him the job. And I used to think, you know what is he's born idle. He never does anything. Why does he always get these kind of like quite interesting jobs to do? And one day I asked my boss, and I said, like, why do you give them to him? And he said, because he is the laziest man I know, and he will always find the shortest way to do it, the quickest way to do it, and the fastest way to kind of just like get done. And it kind of stuck with me basically that my boss knew he was lazy, but he knew he would find the fastest way to get something done. And I kind of find that a little bit when it comes to painting and stuff like that. It's like, if it's done to the standard that you want it doesn't matter how you get there. So yeah, go and check out our video. I would really appreciate it if you do, and leave some comments on there as well, because it's a great topic, and it's really good to see it from somebody that's a lot newer to the hobby, really. Because I think people who tend to start YouTube channels and stuff tend to start them like when they feel like a bit more experienced. So you tend to get you get some older views, I think, of or experienced views. Sometimes it's really, really good to see some views from somebody that's not been as long in the hobby. Although I wouldn't say you weren't an expert, mind, Deb. Some of the stuff you're doing puts my stuff to shame without a shadow of a doubt. So just because you haven't been painting for very long doesn't mean that you're not good. So Deb's been doing some basing videos, basically showing how to base certain themes and certain styles, and they're really, really good. Shadowcats is going to go and see Against Me for my birthday. Have you heard of them? I haven't, but the ex didn't get a ticket. Is that why she's the ex mate? she was your girlfriend. She didn't get a ticket, and then so that's what happened. Is that what it was? I shouldn't say girlfriend, to be fair. I don't know whether you're male, female, or what your taste are, to be fair. So yeah, ex anyway. Let's stick at that. Six in the Head says, I want to interview you for my zine, Debsworth. Yeah, that'll be a good one, mate. Daniel Engel's in. Good evening, Daniel Engel, or good afternoon to you, sir. You're in a different time zone, obviously. Tim Bosian, Lacuna Coil. I've heard of them, but I don't know what they sing. Lacuna Coil?
Couldn't tell you.
No. Bloggy says, dishes are done. He's back. Nice one, mate. Get some models done. Super Pumpkin Man says he's got a favourite metal band would be Sonata Arctica before the old band members left, but right now I'm listening to a lot of Sabaton. Yeah, he's definitely got your kind of taste, the mate, in that case. Arnold says, does anyone know if a Minotaur with two-handed weapons can be an ally to the Chaos Warband Untamed Beasts? I can't remember, mate. I'd have to check my book to be sure. Mark Black, nice to see you, Mark, as well. I'm just trying to catch up on the chat. I'm a little bit behind now. WS introduced to Ailstorm, pirate heavy rock metal last night via the Patreon. WS. I don't know why. I'm trying to think who WS is now. Oh yes, I remember that comment now. Have you heard of Ailstorm? Mm-hmm. Yes, I have seen one of their songs. To be fair, it is definitely a night opener. You're right, mate. Peter says, although I inquired earlier in the month, I had to chase him about it. That must be about something else. It's jumping all over. I'm just going to dive in with a few more as well. Blizzards is saying, love Sabaton, Iron Maiden, Killswitch Engage, Dragon Force, Nightwish, and Ghost. Some nice ones. Pomsy saying he's seen The Fall more times than any other group. Wow. Shadowcats says went to Toxic Twins Tower Ball in 1999. That was before your time, mate, wasn't it? Yeah. When were you born? 2002. Yeah, I was going to say it. Busey says he's also seen Kylie Minogue, Michael Jackson, Take That, and Bon Jovi. Funny enough, all in Benidorm. Are you sure that it was the real people, mate? Had you not just had a few too many drinks and you kind of you're confusing who they were? Was it like a tribute act? Barry Kleiber, Iron Maiden, nice. If you like those bands, check out some Opeth. Have you heard of them?
Mm-hmm.
Porcupine Tree.
No.
This is heavy, but maybe a little more progressive. Barry Kleiber's also a pretty awesome bass player, so he knows his music as well. Palmsy said, "I wish I'd seen take that." Tim Kelly, I couldn't think who the initials were there. Tim says, "Sorry for posting the Hailstorm video. Don't apologise." musical taste. That's what we like to see. Something a bit different. That's the beauty of these Wednesday streams as well. It's just we can just talk about anything at all. Just proper rambles. I'd never heard of Hailstorm until the Battlehammer. Parker and Straw and his love of Hailstorm. That was where I heard about them for the first time. VJ is in as well. Good morning. VJ is one of our Australian viewers. When I was telling you that people are all over the world, so it'll be like 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, or something mental like that. Skull Munch, nice to see you in, mate. How are you doing? Scott says 5 Finger Death Punch are amazing.
Yeah,
like they're on your chart as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I seem to remember hearing you speak of them before. Thordlem says, heard of Amon Armouth. I think you've got an Amon Armouth t-shirt, haven't you?
Sam does.
I knew one of yous did. So I knew I'd heard that name. I've got no idea what they sound like, but I do know that I've heard of the name before, because it looks quite Celtic. The writing, isn't it? Like it's old looking. Nice one. When you get notifications coming up from Windows saying about virus threats and stuff like that, you think, oh no, what's going on? It's just done some.
I've turned them off.
I know I should have done as well, but I redid my computer recently. I completely rebuilt it, wiped all the crap off it that I wasn't using anymore when I got my laptop, just to try and speed things up a little bit. And it did run faster, but then I forgot to get rid of all the bits of antivirus stuff that doesn't work as well. Timbo says Amon Armouth are Viking metal. That's why it looks kind of Celtic and stuff. Then VJ is saying, right, time to crack on and build the battle system stuff. Yeah, the battle systems, terrain stuff. It's nice stuff, mate. But I tell you what, it feels like it's never ending when you sit and building it. I've been kind of going through some. I got sent some by Battle Systems to do for a retail pack review, and it's taken me some time. I seem to be in this weird trap of the minute of trying to do 10 different things at once and not getting anything finished. I need to just try and kind of focus on one project really. Cradle of Filth, there's another one. Steel Panther, are there names that you recognised?
No.
Cradle of Filth I know, because the lead singer, a guy called Danny Filth, I'm sure that's what he was christened. I'm sure his mum and dad are Mr. and Mrs. Filth. Was in a horror film called Cradle of Fear, like a British horror film, and he was one of the actors in the film. Yeah, so that was how I know him, and I know of Cradle of Filth. Where else we off to? Super Pumpkin Man said, I weirded my boss out at work a few months ago. I came in early to finish a piece of armour, and I was listening to Elvis while smithing. Wow, mate. First of all, I'm impressed that you're kind of like you're some kind of blacksmith. That's pretty cool. I'm even more impressed you were listening to Elvis while you were doing it. I'd love to know which Elvis song it was. Was it like something like In the Ghetto or something really slow, or was it like something a bit more upbeat? I don't see blacksmithing and Elvis being that kind of a combination. But hey, who knows? Maybe they are. Tiberia says, Danny Filth is very small. I'm sure he must have had some very stacked shoes in the film. Six in the Head says, 98 Glastonbury, I think it was, Mudfest. Great showman, as they say. I think you're talking about Robbie Williams there, aren't you? I went to see Robbie Williams. My sister had 2 tickets to see Robbie Williams when he first went solo, and our mate couldn't go at the last minute, and she said, do I want to go with her? I mean, at the time I would never have bought tickets to go and see him. It was kind of long before. I think he hadn't long been out to take that, and it was long before he was kind of huge as a solo artist, and it was a place in Newcastle that it was knocked down, I think, before your time, mate. Which is where, do you know where the gate is now, the shopping centre and stuff and all the bars? It was a place called the Mayfair there, and it was like a big kind of music venue type thing. And I went to see him there at the Mayfair, and there was about 50 people to see Robbie Williams.
Really?
And most of them were at the bar. It was really weird, and he was absolutely fantastic, to be fair to him. And it was a really good gig, but it's weird when you kind of see people who are bigger now, but you saw them when they weren't quite so big. Barry Kleiber says, my first ever concert was Kiss with Ted Nugent, then Rush and ELP, but I've seen Yes and Dream Theater probably more than the other band. Favourite is still Steely Dan. I don't mind a bit of Steely Dan. Is Steely Dan something you've heard of? No. It's kind of like prog rock from like the kind of from the 70s, really. You'll know some of their songs though. If I put a Steely Dan song on, you would know it, or certain ones anyway. But you've got quite definitely a bit of prog rock in there, mate, with your taste, I think. Ted Nugent, I know the name Ted Nugent. Like I know, like obviously he's an American singer, but I can't remember why. I know I've got a feeling I went on holiday many years ago with you to Florida, and we were staying at the Hard Rock Hotel in Florida, and I think Ted Nugent was playing there that night. I seem to remember. Obviously, do you remember me and your mum obviously had you, because I remember seeing the name and thinking that's quite a big name to be just playing in the bar in Hard Rock Hotel. But yeah, I seem to remember that. And obviously, me and your mum were there with you and Sam. So we didn't get to go to the bar because obviously we had two 3 or 4 year old kids with us. But I seem to remember that's why the name Ted Nugent seems to stick in my mind. Tiberius saying loves a bit of Elvis. Scott Long says, who's the blacksmith in the group? Can you ask him to contact me on Facebook? I'm after some items making. He might be in a completely different country, mate. I don't know. I think it was Super Pumpkin Man. I'm an apprentice armour smith, but I was listening to Viva Las Vegas and dancing a little too much, and he just asked to stop before he started laughing. I like that, mate. An armour smith. Wow, that's even more impressive.
Is that still a thing?
It's still a thing. This gentleman earns his keep from it. So, yeah. I assume it must be more kind of like, is it more sort of decorative type? Well, I'm assuming that you probably could still get killed with the type stuff, or certainly be protected by it. But is it like collectible stuff or something, or is it like for reenactment stuff? What's your main kind of customer? I suppose I'm asking. Tiberius says Ted Nugent is famous for being really far right and likes underage girls. Maybe that's why I remember him. Maybe he wasn't singing at the Hard Rock Hotel. Oh, it wasn't Ted Nugent at the Hard Rock Hotel. Now I think about it, it was Rick Springfield. That's who it was. Jesse's girl. That's who it was. Yeah. That might be the Ted Nugent story that that's in my head. Thank you for that rescue there, mate. Six and Head says he's on about Zeppelin there as well. Mods and rockers. What is this? The 60s? Yeah. How is it? I get my 17, nearly 18-year-old son onto the stream, and you lot start talking about 70s music from the 70s. All right, it's starting to come up a little bit there. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Am I going to brighten up a little bit? No, I'm not, because it looks pretty bright on my camera. I think it's what I've never managed to work out is how bright things look when other people see them. Because I think the brightness on these monitors and these, like the colour, that cheap monitors. Yeah, actually, you could do. Yeah, can you? Does it look bright enough on there? Actually, and I'll turn the brightness up a little bit on the screen as well. There you go. It looks all right in there, doesn't it? Mm. See, look how much darker it is on that screen.
Could be because it's quite far away.
It's probably that as well, yeah. Like the way it's tilted. Super Pumpkin Man said it's for reenactment stuff. Yeah, that kind of makes sense then, mate. I was going to say, we haven't got some kind of like 13th century sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like a militia group trying to invade or something like that. Excuse me while I have a quick drink. Palmsy saying there, I saw the Who at Hyde Park doing Quadrophenia. Oh, shit. I bet you've just blew a load of people's dreams away there, mate. One of my most disappointing, actually, was I saw Paul Weller at Tea in the Park in Scotland. And I'm a big Paul Weller fan. I like a lot of the kind of like the Jam and Style Council and stuff, and some of his solo stuff like Stanley Road and stuff. And he was awful as well. He essentially just wanted to play all of his new stuff that nobody in the crowd had ever heard of, and never wouldn't play the classics kind of stuff really, which was disappointing. So. VJ says, wow, Ted Nugent to Rick Springfield. It's a pretty big leap. Listen, mate, to me, that they're all just American singers. It is a big leap. The name just kind of popped into my head there. I don't know what. I think I know Ted Nugent from probably seeing some documentary about him. That's probably what it is. Jamie Newton saying, evening all, made it at last. Welcome, Jamie Newton. How are you doing? Scott says, get some Stone Roses on. Yeah, that's a bit of my kind of taste as well, mate. I'm more indie, I think, than heavy rock. Adam says, I personally love a nice, relaxing and romantic death metal song. Want to woo the ladies with the Adam. That's it. Right. I'm going for a much lighter green now, folks, just to try and brighten up that skin a little bit. Barry's saying he's old enough to have seen all of the old metal bands: Slayer, Anthrax, Overkill, Metallica, Motorhead, Dio, Sabbath. So Disturbed at a tiny club in Chicago before they were anyone. Wow.
That's lucky.
I know. What musical tastes there, mate? What an awesome collection of live acts to have seen. So what's this colour called? This colour is called Scorpion Green, folks. And it feels like a very kind of old GW colour. So I'm just kind of lightening up. So actually, I'm going to get a smaller brush. Peter says, now I'm eating cheese and onion crisps and drinking beer to look like my old pub days. I may have to punch myself in the face for extra realism. Do you want me to ask you whether you've got ID, Peter? Whether you're old enough to be in here? Does that bring back the memories? VJ saying, anyone see Guns N' Roses on their reunion tour? That was a great show. I think you kind of saw them. Was that part of the reunion? Was it? So. Yeah, I think it was, wasn't it? I saw them on the Use Your Illusion tour, and that was back like in the early 70s. I was going to say I wasn't born in the early 70s. In the early 90s. Shadowcat's got a few recommendations as well. Pitch Shifter, is that a name you've heard of? No. Faith No More, definitely. Just Kev says, hey team, hello Kev. He says, hope all is well. Just finished up with his 9 Space Marine Eradicators and his 9 Outriders. Wow, mate, you've got your work cut out. The Outriders are those bikes things I was building today, that one. Mm-hmm. You get 3 in the box, he's got 9 to build. God. Scott's saying he's seen Slipknot twice. I know Slipknot, I think more because just they're a band that you know exactly who they are if you ever see a picture of them kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't tell you, I couldn't say I've ever seen any of or heard any of their music to know it was a Slipknot song. I don't mind a bit of Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson's got some songs that I really like. Things like Beautiful People is one of my favourite Marilyn Manson songs. Just completely lost you with that one, Adam, didn't I? You've not.
Nope.
Oh, actually, I think I've played it for you.
You played it for me, I'm pretty sure.
That's right, yeah. Tim Kelly says, yeah, I'm still in the stadium waiting for Axel to come on. Notoriously late arrival, eh? Definitely, mate. Suitor Pumpkin Man saying he missed Rob Zombie the last time he came to town. I don't know much about Rob Zombie's his music. I like a lot of his movies. But yeah, I'm not familiar with his music, to be fair. So yeah, so we're going a little bit old school with this really bright green here, just trying to lighten up some of the bits. Actually, if I push it a little bit closer, that's a bit easier for my old eyes. Because yes, Adam, your dad is getting old. and your eyesight starts to go. And I think what happens as well is when you're doing this like on a live stream like this, the lights up behind are kind of brighter, and I think it makes your eyes focus funny. So that's my excuse for painting like painting like I'm garbage. So, Scott's saying Manson is awesome as well. Yeah, The Nobodies is a favourite Marilyn Manson song, Debs. I don't think I know that song. I'll have to check that one out. Just Kev saying he got into metal from the first Matrix movie soundtrack. Classic stuff. Yeah. Green Day. Any Green Day there? Shadow Cat's telling you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ish. It's alright.
Super Punk Man completely failed to get tickets to Kiss earlier this year. Somebody else was telling me, I think it might have been Anna from Red Rose Wargame, and she went to see Kiss this year at Newcastle. So yeah, there's definitely a crowd of rock metal heads I think we've got in here.
Yeah.
I think I'm out of my depth when we start talking about it, so I'm glad you're here to just go, yep, heard of them. No, I haven't heard of them. Otherwise I just go, no. Rammstein. There's a metal band. Lawson Deming, hello Lawson, how are you doing? So they just finished painting up the Operation Colstrom figures. I think you mentioned them being hard to assemble. You were right. Between that and the painting, probably the hardest minis I've ever done. I found them an absolute nightmare, and not just because they were small pieces. Mine just would not stick together. I just couldn't get them together, mate. So it did come at a time when I didn't have my ultrasonic cleaner then. I have since bought one, and with the whole lockdown thing being at its height at that particular time, I couldn't get the glue that I would normally use, which I would normally use Gorilla Gel glue. I couldn't get any at the time. So maybe it was just a combination of like a perfect storm of just not having the right stuff. So actually, basically the glue I had, the only thing it would stick was my fingers to each other. I couldn't get it to stick the bits of metal minis together. So yeah,
pointless.
It was it was fun, like sitting with two bits together like that, and then going to take it apart. The two bits fall on the table, and my fingers are stuck together. And like, oh. Tony Booflighton says, all the members of Rammstein are licensed pyrotechnicians. I can imagine that, mate. Peter says, I'm just admiring your work on the grots. By the way, what was the best for removing paint, did we decide? I prefer clean spirits, mate. You can use methylated spirits as well, but I tend to use clean spirits because it's not like nasty. You can put it down the drain and stuff like that. It's not alcohol based. It's water based, so it's not too bad to be going in an ultrasonic cleaner. It strips the paint really well, and it works basically. That's why you use it, because it works. So I just buy a big tub of the stuff from B&Q, and just keep that on hand, mate, now for if I ever need to do any stripping of stuff. It also come at a time, like people will tell you, I think isopropanol alcohol as well, ISO basically works really well as well. But again, during the whole lockdown thing, it was the main ingredient in hand sanitizer, and you couldn't get it for love nor money at the time. So yeah, that was another thing you can use. Adam says, I'm finding it hard to see what's being painted. There seems to be a thumbnail in the top right corner with a white chocolate Malteser reflecting all the light. He's trying to call my head a white chocolate Malteser. Thanks, mate. Just for you, mate. There you go. We'll just have that. Is that better for you? In fact, no. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint like this. Then try and look at it. See how you like it, mate.
You weren't in the top right there.
I wasn't in the top right then, was I? Yeah, it would have got rid of the white chocolate Malteser. Maltesers and chocolate. Oh, I fancy some chocolate now, mate. You've set me off. I haven't had chocolate in ages. Lawson saying he's overall happy with the result. Ended up needing to pin everything and use accelerator for the glue. Yeah, accelerator is something I've never ever used. And everybody keeps, whenever I say I'm having problems, they go, "Do you use accelerator?" I'm like, oh no, I should probably pick some up. So accelerator glue, Adam, for you, not being into your hobby stuff too much, is basically, it's like a spray that you basically spray on super glue and it makes it go off instantly. So like normally you have to hold it together for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You basically hold them, you spray it with this, and it just instantly just bonds. And it's pretty cool as long as you haven't stuck your fingers together. Otherwise, you just stick together your fingers faster. Yeah. I should probably pick some up. I think Luke was telling me the stuff to pick up. Tabletop standard in here. Because I saw some stuff online and it seemed like it was more for kind of like woodworking and stuff, but apparently it was the right stuff. Tony saying there started using Accelerator a couple of months back and it's a godsend. Yeah, I'll definitely, yeah. Peter Koeman, don't ruin Maltesers for the rest of us. I thought we were among friends, mate. Thank you very much. Shadowcat says Roxy Music. Have you heard of Roxy Music?
No.
So Brian Ferry, the lead singer of Roxy Music, is from Washington, not too far from us. And I always remember there was an electrician I used to work with years ago he used to work for the local council, and he got called out to do like this job at this old woman's house, and he went to her house and stuff, and he was like fixing the sockets and stuff, and something she'd asked him, and he went, oh, like I'm in a band, like I play on weekends and stuff. I've got to get finished early because we're travelling down to do this gig tomorrow. And she'd said, oh, my son's in a band as well. And he went, oh, is he? Oh, aye, great. And she went, hey, he's not bad. Like he's been playing for a while now. He travels around with his band. And he said he'd gone into the living room to do like the next load of sockets, and there was loads of photos of like Brian Ferry like all over the living room, and it was like the lead singer of Roxy Music. Like it was his mum. Yeah, like, it was like, but just like the way she kind of played it down, like, oh, my son's in a band as well. He's not bad. Super Pumpkin Man said, this is why in D&D playing bards are fun. You can make as many music references as you want. Do you know what it is? That's a good time to talk D&D. Somebody was asking about it before. So, I had my first ever game of D&D last week, Adam. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons before.
Well, it's one more game than I've played.
Yeah, and I've never played any kind of RPG stuff. And Christian, who's our moderator in the chat tonight, he ran a one shot. A one shot is essentially when you normally if you're playing like a role playing game, you'll play like a campaign over multiple weeks and months and years for some people, and you basically keep going back to the story and it progresses over time. A one shot is basically like a little self-contained story that you just do in one session basically. And he basically ran that for us. We ran it through. We had our video chat through Discord, and we used Roll20, which is some online software which basically allows us all to see our stats on screen, and Christian could make maps and stuff, so we could see exactly where our characters were and what we were up against and stuff. And I honestly did not know what to expect. I didn't know it was going to be one of them things where I'd be sitting there for like hours on end going, oh, I really wish I hadn't kind of like said I wanted to do this. Or, but it was absolutely awesome. Christian was a fantastic DM, and we had some real good laughs. There was 6 of us in the campaign, and Christian, the 7th person, DMing it, and it was everything I hoped it would be, like fun wise, and none of the things I was
stereotypes.
Like. None of the stereotypes kind of thing. None of like the kind of like the negative stuff that I was expecting of like thinking, oh no, like everybody's going to be doing really like weird voices and I'm going to feel really like uncomfortable about it and stuff. It was none of that kind of stuff. It was just a bunch of really, really fun folks telling a story, having a laugh. We played from like we got online about 6:30 and we finished like almost midnight. It was just really, really good fun. I really enjoyed it. So yes, no doubt we'll probably do more. I think at some point if Christian's up for continuing the adventure. But yeah, I just want to say thanks to Christian. It was really good. George is in as well. Good evening, George. Tim saying, how are you liking the hand, Landy? I really like them. I like the old ones. Just being able to they're comfortable in my hand. A nice size for the grip. I like being able to move them around and being able to pop these off and switch out the minis and basically have like all of these basically like lined up ready to go. It's perfect for batch painting. I pledged for the handle and I think I got 9 of the caps in total. I would have liked to have got 10, but I think I had to go up to 12 to get 10, if you like. So I thought, well, I've got 9 of these plus my original handle. That'll do, because I tend not to paint in bigger batches than 10 at a time anyway. So, yeah, I'm really liking it, mate. I would wholeheartedly recommend it. I wasn't sent it for free. I pledged for it with my own money. It's not a review or anything like that. But yeah, I would totally recommend them. Excuse me. Stotty's Man Cave says Bowie's reality tour was the best concert I've ever seen live. I remember being a kid and David Bowie was playing at Roker Park, which was the old Sunderland Stadium when I was a kid. And I think it was the Glass Spider tour. So anybody that's into Bowie and might be able to like date that, probably early 80s, I'd imagine. And I remember being able to hear it like sort of playing live from where we lived, like just because it was on a night time, and you know how sound travels when it's dark and stuff, and there's like not a lot of road noise and stuff. Mm-hmm. I remember being able to like sit in my mum and dad's backyard and hear David Bowie playing. So yeah, so I never went. I was really young, but I remember that. It's funny what kind of stands out in your mind, those kind of things. Mm-hmm. Jacob says, love the Ravenloft setting. I was big into the novels in the 90s. Yeah, Castle Ravenloft. Chris Dawes says, will Adam be helping with future battle reports? Would you like to?
I might.
You might do, yeah.
Sure.
You're definitely more of a like a video gamer than a kind of like a tabletop gamer. Mm-hmm. But maybe some painting stuff and that together would do, wouldn't we? Yeah. But I think your brother's keen to kind of play more, and I think you're probably more keen just to maybe just chill and hang out and a bit of painting together, that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you ever want to do any battle report stuff with me, mate, I'd love to have you join in. We used to play like bits and pieces, didn't we? We've played stuff over the time.
Yeah.
Played like board games and that together as well. Like, yeah. Normally when it's like, oh, no, I didn't even make that kind of like little girly squeal when I knocked a full pot of the contrast paint over once in the middle of a live stream, and I'm just sitting there smiling away, just like drying it up. I dropped my paintbrush. That's all that was there, folks. I can't remember what I was going to say now. Yeah. So yeah, maybe one day, mate. Yeah. Maybe one day. I'm trying to think what the last. I think Shadespire might be the last miniatures game we played together in this room.
I don't know if I played it.
I think you did. I think you played it once with me. So, but yeah, we'll have to get some more stuff livened up like that. Christian's saying, no worries, glad everyone had fun. I'm writing a continuation of the story now. Awesome, mate. Tony Bouvleiden says, I was at that Bowie gig at Roker Park. Sublime. I wonder, what can you think what year it was, mate? Was it like kind of mid-80s maybe, was it? Scott saying, Andy, is Adam not into wargaming? You're not like kind of big into it, mate. You're definitely more of a video gamer, aren't you, buddy? Mm-hmm. So yeah. But I did say to him, do you want to come on the stream tonight? And he was super keen. So nice to have the company, mate. It's nice to see you as well, because obviously, like, Adam lives with his mum. He kind of used to come over on weekends and stuff. But with the whole lockdown stuff, and obviously like all the different like families and things, we'd obviously not seen each other, had we? So it was nice to kind of start to see you and your bro when you come back over again. So it's nice, like Sammy coming on last week, you coming on this week. Nice to see the two of yous. Because normally you come in, kick your shoes off, put the bag down, I'm going to play my games. And I don't see you until is it time for tea yet? That's how our conversations go at the minute. Super Punker Man said he played Ravenloft with the Adventurous group at his local game store and hated it, since I was the oldest player and had to help the other players the whole time and never really got to play. Yeah, I can imagine. To be honest, as a new player to D&D, that was one of my fears actually, was that I was a complete new player, complete newbie, and I didn't really want to like slow down the entire experience for everybody else. I was worried that was what was going to happen, and thankfully that wasn't the case. The combination of Christian doing some really good prep work and like kind of taking us to one side beforehand, saying like this is how Roll20 works, and and you need to do this, and this is how you can do this, which really helped. And then also, Roll20 actually made it really super simple. You kind of click a button on the right stat that you need to roll, and it kind of does all the calculations and stuff for you, which really kind of speed things up. I think if I had to keep looking at a reference sheet and then looking at the different abilities and things, and then rolling dice and then trying to do the maths, I think I might have felt a bit more kind of pressured by it, if you like. But no, Christian did an absolutely awesome job and kept us, made me feel like I wasn't kind of out of my depth, which I think was really my initial fear. It was one of the reasons it took me so long to kind of play my first RPG, I think, because my fear was if I join a local group of experienced players or folks who know each other, and I'm a complete like new starter, I felt pretty bad, like kind of like stopping everybody from enjoying it and stopping them from playing. But it didn't happen the other night, so yeah. Again, thank you, Christian. You got us playing, mate. That's what was the important thing. Lord Maiden says also saw Black Sabbath with James Ronnie Dio about 4 to 6 months before he died. Wow. Simon Parfit, many moons ago, one of his work colleagues asked if I wanted a free ticket to see Prince at the O2. All I had to do was drive. Never been a fan of Prince, but my God, it was an amazing show. Those are the shows that tend to end up being those kind of like legendary moments of like, I never really wanted to see them, but like what a hell of a show kind of thing. That was kind of like me going to see, I mean, not on the same level, but the story I said before about going to see Robbie Williams. Like I would never have bought tickets to go and see him off my own bat. But yeah, a free ticket, and yeah, what an experience. But I can imagine Prince at the O2 was slightly different to Robbie Williams in the Mayfair at Newcastle. So, how are you doing with the chat, mate? Have you completely just lost it? Are you happy just kind of chilling instead?
Yeah, that's all right.
That's all right. That sounds cool. Right, let me. Well, Palmsy saying he likes a bit of Iggy Pop. Nice one. Said he got VJ saying he got to see 3 shows on the last Tool tour. The perks of working in the entertainment industry. Do you know who Tool is, Adam?
Yep.
There you go. I'm glad you do, because I haven't got a clue. If somebody says that they've been to see a Tool, I would be, you've been to see a Tool, like what, like somebody that wasn't very good. Like I don't know whether that translates to Australia as well, VJ, but like in the UK, if somebody's a bit of a tool, it just means they're a bit hopeless, like they're a bit of a knob, basically. So I'm sure that's not nothing to do with the band name. So I'm just putting a bit of what colour am I using here? Sotec green, I think it is. I'm just putting that on. I don't even know what I've done with it. I think I've put it back in the pot holder thing now. 87, Tony Booth Leiden says. 87, yeah, I thought 80s, mate, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I was 12 then. Was I 12? No, I wasn't 12. Was I 12? Yeah, I was 12. So, yeah. So, I was, in that case, it was definitely 12, because, you know, where, like, Grandad lives now, we'd only just moved there, not too long before that. I think I was 11 when we moved to that house. So yeah, because you know how you can hear the match day sometimes from Grandad's on a Saturday afternoon from the football stadium. Yeah, so imagine hearing like a rock concert, like going all night. So yeah. Scott said he went to see Rod Stewart in Glasgow in 2010. Very nice, mate. Very nice. I think if you're into Rod Stewart's music, I think he's kind of renowned for doing a good show as well. Yeah. Right. How's that looking on your screen? Yeah, that's not too bad. So this is obviously I'm gonna lighten this one up as well, but this is just the base colour as well for the kind of cloth. I'm keeping them all the same colour as well, so they're easy to identify on the board for those folks that are lucky enough to get to play this. So yeah, just for those that are coming a little bit late. If anybody is not already a member of my Patreon, I will be giving away a fully painted copy of HeroQuest, my own personal copy that I had since I was about 9 years old. I've stripped all the models. I'm repainting them now. I'm trying to keep them kind of old school looking by not using kind of any contrasts, any kind of fancy new paint stuff, no washes. I'm trying to keep them kind of in keeping with its time, if you like. So if you join the Patreon from a minimum, well, from only $2 a month, you will be entered into this draw if you are a Patreon member at the time when I finish painting these. And there's loads of benefits and stuff. So yeah, check out the Patreon link and see if it's something that you're interested in. It's my way of saying thank you to everybody that supports me to enable me to make this my full-time job. And yeah, good luck to everybody that enters. And it's nice. It'll be nice to kind of, like, I know whoever wins this is somebody that's like directly supporting me and supporting the channel. So that's a nice feeling to know that it's not. Sometimes when you do giveaways, it goes to some random person that only ever tuned into the video just to get just to try and win the competition, and then you never hear from them again, kind of thing. Yeah. So it'll be nice to know that this goes to somebody that's like a supporter, if you like. So, right. Shadowcat said he's starting a Star Trek Adventure RPG. Nice one. I've heard somebody recently saying they were playing an Aliens one. I bet that's quite interesting as well. Yep, no worries, mate. Red Rose Wargaming said, I enjoy playing pretty much all games of D&D these days, as I'm usually the DM for our group, so it's nice to be on the side of the screen. I can imagine that, actually. It's a bit like, actually, sometimes I actually quite like just putting other live streams on and just kind of sitting painting my minis or stuff like that. Not even like commenting, really. Like, there's quite a few live streams that I've been on where I haven't, like, people might not even like realised I've been on them, really, because it's nice just to, it's nice to be on the other side of it, really, sometimes as well. So I can appreciate, Anna, exactly what you're saying there. Yeah, Christian saying your character was amazing to Anna there as well. Not at all what I was expecting. You played it really well, Anna. You kind of kept it all the way through that. I was thinking, what's she doing? Where's she going with this? I want to kind of know like more about that character. Krabby Vision says, evening all, what did I miss? And Tim says, we've all taken it turns to confess our most embarrassing moment. Over to you. Nice one, Krabby. How are you doing, mate? How are you doing? Vijay saying, yeah, that translates to Australia as well. Yeah, bit of a tool. I think a lot of kind of Aussie slang and kind of UK slang kind of, I think we've got a very similar kind of sort of direct, dry, almost sarcastic sense of humour, I think. So I think a lot of stuff between Australia and UK translates. Some of it gets lost a bit in translation when you get to the US. Yeah, like talking about the differences between like kind of US and UK like words and things that we say. I always find it funny like when Americans like call like what we would call a bum bag, they would call a fanny pack. It always makes me smirk like a 10-year-old schoolboy hearing like a rude word for the first time. Yeah. The silly things, yeah. It's the little things, Adam. You'll realise as you get old, mate. Them little things that you snigger at now, you still snigger at when you get old as well. Right. A bit more on that one as well. Krabby's saying good evening to you. So Krabby's a local lad. You see them two? Can you see them from there? There's two massive big Warhammer books on the shelf there, like novels. Krabby loaned me those, so he came around and popped around and gave me some books to read. It is very polite, very nice of him. Daniel said he got to see Def Leppard and Journey 2 summers ago. Wow, I didn't realise Def Leppard was still kind of going, mate, like still like playing and stuff. Quite liked a bit of Def Leppard back in the 90s. Still like them now, but I used to listen to a lot more kind of rock music back then. I don't listen to a lot of music now, if I'm honest. I listen to a lot of podcasts and I listen to a lot of audiobooks, but I don't listen to a lot of music. You always listen to music, don't you? You always got your headphones in, always listening, mate. So have you watched any films recently, Adam? Has there been anything that you've watched?
No.
Not really much of a movie watcher?
I don't watch much movies.
No. I'm trying to think what I watched recently. I've got to try and remember what it's called now. Oh, it's a new film that's on Netflix, and it's got dead interesting when it's a film and I can't remember who's in it or what it's called.
Must be good.
No, it was good actually. It was decent. What's she called again? I can South African woman. She's in Mad Max Fury Road.
I think you're losing it now.
No, somebody's going to tell me in the chat now. Somebody will tell me exactly what it is. Phil Toller saying he saw Jean-Michel Jarre live at Wembley. Nice one. There's a bit of trippy music. VJ saying, I've seen you randomly pop up on a few live streams. Yeah, every now and again, mate, I'll kind of comment and say hello and stuff like that. But yeah, it's quite nice just to kind of to chill in the background and listen to other people sometimes. One I tend to kind of like I tend to just kind of tune in if I'm doing a bit of stuff at home as well as I'll watch the Agents of Sigmar guys. I tend not to really comment on their streams because I don't know a lot about kind of Beastgrave and stuff like that, but I tend to always just listen to a couple of good lads. So yeah, anybody else that's kind of if you're looking for live streams, I think Tuesday is normally Agents of Sigmar. Worth checking out those guys. Somebody says, Peter, Andy, is that a replacement weapon? Can't remember goblins with a hammer. Yes, mate. I when I got them out of the box, I found one had snapped. So this is a hammer from a Kings of War dwarf set, and I replaced it because basically he didn't have a weapon. So yes, you get the only one with a hammer. Crabby Vision says, I really enjoyed the D&D game we played, learned a lot, and could probably enjoy the character development side, to be honest. Yeah, had you played much before, Crabby? Because I got the impression you kind of knew what you were doing, mate. I didn't know whether it was your first time playing as well or not. I wasn't sure, but you seem to kind of get the grip of it very quickly. I was a little bit kind of... I didn't really know, when I first started anyway, I didn't really know when to kind of chime in and like give my thoughts or anything like that. So yeah, it was good though. VJ saying huge translation difference between US and UK humour. Yeah, they certainly can be, mate. They certainly can be. There's a channel that somehow seemed to come up in my YouTube recommended feed. Is an American guy who basically kind of reacts to British humour videos. So you watch things like Little Britain or like Ricky Gervais or what was the other things? Oh, he was watching. Oh, my mind is blank tonight. Scottish comedian, big beard, very sweary. You'll all know in the chat who I'm talking about. Old God. The Old God is the name of that film. Thank you so much, mate. Yes. I watched The Old God on Netflix. I think it was at the weekend. And I quite enjoyed that, actually. It was pretty good. It's essentially about this group of like immortals who basically have been around for like centuries, and they basically keep trying to kind of help the world out by getting rid of bad guys and like putting things back on the straight and narrow and stuff, helping out in different like areas and things. It was really, really good. Still can't remember her name though. I've got the letter T in my head. I think her surname begins with a T, and I can't think what she's called. Somebody will tell me somewhere. Scott says his little boy's really liking playing Carcassonne, and now he wants more expansions. Carcassonne's a really fun board game, mate. I love playing that. Me and Lou play it quite often as well. It's quite a nice, good for maths as well, actually, for young ones. Don't think we've played Carcassonne before, have we? Like little kind of like land tiles and stuff where you have to put them together to make like little towns with like walls around the outside and stuff. No, I don't think we've played before, have we? No, it's cool. VJ saying like the UK, the office is awesome. US office is awful. I've never seen the US office, but obviously the US one went on for a lot longer, a lot more seasons. But there are certain ones, like I think Shameless is another one where the US version wasn't received quite as well as the as the UK version. Like they did a US version of the In-Betweeners. I think that pretty much flopped after one season kind of thing. I don't think it kind of. I think part of the reason was like they tried to cast like they weren't quite as dorky, basically. They weren't quite as geeky as the In-Betweeners characters from the UK version. So. Yeah. So how was this experience then, Adam? We'll be on the live stream. Different. Not so. If you've had enough, mate, and you want to go and play your games,
that's cool.
You can be released. I don't. Yeah, you're all right. But you're all right hanging out, mate. Yeah.
Aye.
That's all right then. I didn't want you to feel like you were being trapped in the corner there, mate. Now, if I said I've had enough, you can just finish it off. That would be a bit different. You can just sit and paint my minis for us. Shadowcat says the best one is when orc players I'm just getting my knob out. You get like orc knobs. Like the orc boys and orc knobs. Yeah. Yeah, it always makes me chuckle as well, like a schoolboy. Childish, isn't it? Vijay said he took his elder brother to a Def Leppard show, VIP style. Loved treating them to the entertainment industry experience. Nice if you can do it, mate. That's awesome. Very nice. Right, I'm going to have a quick drink here, and I'll catch up a little bit. Red Rose Wargaming said, I was trying to roleplay a mischievous, chaotic old lady who has tricks up her sleeve and enjoys life to the max. You certainly did. John Estelle, Charlize Theron. I'm sure I'm about to scroll down now and about 40 people will be telling me what a film was called. Frankie Boyle, that was the other name I couldn't remember as well. I knew the letter T was in my head, the Theron bit. I am awful at remembering people's names. I never forget somebody's face, but I am awful with names. And the way I have to try and remember their name is I literally have to go through the alphabet, and something at the back of my mind will trigger it and go, that's the letter. And then I have to go, right, it begins with T, begins with T, begins with T, what is it? And 9 times out of 10 it'll kind of come back to me. But when you're on a live stream and you start giving out them clues, everybody comes and tells you, so it's fine. Definitely. Tony Booth Leiden says, going to try my first audiobook soon, Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Love the comics, so hopefully it's good. Yeah, nice one, mate. I've never read the Sandman comics, but I've heard a lot about the Sandman comics. Stotty saying, Tuesdays is standard tabletop night for me. Yeah, that's right, mate. I'm forgetting. Luke's on them as well, isn't he? Shadowcat says I'm watching Scorpion at the minute, and before that was Farscape on Prime. I've not. Scorpion. I did watch a bit actually. Scorpion's like a team of sort of super geniuses, isn't it? Is that the same one? Zombie Dad. Good evening, Zombie Dad. Said not a movie, but have you watched the series Zomboat? I've not even heard of it, mate. Want to check out, I guess. Paul Lyman's in as well. Nice to see you, Paul. How are you doing? Tim Kimmel says Frankie Boy. That's the one. Yeah, Frankie. So there was this American guy basically reacting to kind of like British comedy and stuff, and Frankie Boyle was the one he was like listening to, and loads of times he kind of like stopped it and said, "I'm not really sure what he said there," like because obviously a really strong Scottish accent. Not really sure what he said there. I think what he said was this, and if he said this, it's really funny. But if he didn't say that, I'm not really sure what he said, and it was quite weird trying to see somebody trying to interpret the humour like in a slightly different way. What colour boots, Adam? Should we give him brown boots, red boots? Brown boots it is then. That was the... let me see what kind of brown one. We're going to use a bit of Gawthor brown, I think. That's my go-to brown colour, that one. Lord Maiden says, yeah, look at Johnson and Trump. Johnson is American slang for a man's dangly bits, and Trump is British slang for a fart. I like that. Trump is such a polite way of saying a fart, isn't it? Ooh, I've done a little Trump. Barry Kleiber says 35 years in the music industry, or business, has put me on stage in the studio and opening for a nearly unbelievable variety of bands and artists. I'll save all that. Probably biggest I've opened for was Journey. Wow, mate. That's a proper claim to fame, mate. I can't say I've ever... I'm not even much of a musician, if I'm honest. I used to play the violin when I was at school, and I was very politely told, have I ever considered trying to play the drums? which I think it was a code for you shit at playing the violin, basically.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty much it. That was the end of my musical.
So you took the hint.
I took the hint and just, to be honest, I got into sport then, to be fair, and I kind of, I stopped the musical side. However, by the same stretch of it, it was kind of, it wasn't very encouraging to basically be told in a polite way, you're not very good. Have you ever thought of trying something different? Because my school didn't do drum lessons, so it's not. I think that was their polite way of saying, "Would you like to play an instrument, but not with us?"
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of put me off, I think. Frank, it wasn't Frank Carson, no. Yes, Deb's with it was Charlize Theron. I don't know why I couldn't remember her name there. Where was that one up to? Frank Sidebottom. God, I haven't heard of Frank Sidebottom in a long time. Super Pumpkin Man says, this is why I'm glad my dad watched a lot of Monty Python, Doctor Who and Red Dwarf growing up, so I kind of get British humour. I don't know why it's so different. It's almost like, I think it's because as a nation, we're generally more negative, I think. My impression kind of on the outside is that like Americans are much more positive in general, and I think Brits are a bit more negative in general. So we kind of, so what it generates is kind of like a very sort of self-deprecating kind of sense of humour. We tend to like laugh at other people's misfortune. Mm-hmm. I think basically that's kind of our humour. I think because we think it could be worse. It could be me. I think that's kind of where that kind of sarcasm and kind of humour comes from. I think. Just get this belt in here. Shadowcat says, I do recommend Don't Mess with Cthulhu Deluxe. I've not even heard of that, mate. Jacob's chatting away there as well. Tony Booth Leiden says, Danny Bowes of Def Leppard has a cracking show on Planet Rock Radio. Alice Cooper too. I'll have to put Planet Rock on. I sometimes have a little bit of Planet Rock in the car, to be fair, but it tends to be for like 20 minutes or 15 minutes when I'm picking up the little one. Timbo says, bedtime for him, like guys. Cheers for the stream. You are welcome. Krabby saying, what's Adam playing at the minute? Console or desktop? Guessing he's better than his dad. Of course he's better than his dad. What you playing, mate? Tell Krabby because he wasn't in earlier on.
League of Legends, Persona 5.
Yeah, League of Legends, Persona 5, PC gamer all day. Master Racer. Yeah, all that kind of antisocial kind of like screw you console gamer things. Yeah, he's much better than me, mate. He's a hell of a League of Legends player. I was just watching him playing earlier on today, and it's just like the thought process that he goes through when he's playing. It was really actually interesting because I really like League of Legends. I am awful at it, but I do like the game, and it was really interesting just to watch him play and to have him like talking through the decisions he was making like in real time, like why he was doing certain things, and it's amazing like when you see somebody who's like on a different level, like playing like really well, like the considerations that goes through, and the choices that he makes and stuff like that. I found it really, really interesting. So well done, Adam.
Thanks.
You blew me away, mate, as you always do. So I'm proud of you, son. Peter Cooman says he's out as well. He's up at 6 again for work in the morning. Have a good night. Night, Peter Cooman. Take care, fella. Deb's was off as well. That's it. Back doesn't want to sit at the table anymore. Thanks for the chat. You are welcome, Deb, and thank you for that video today as well. It was awesome. I've just seen some. Peter Nicholas is saying Zomboard had some good parts, although I will watch it again if they do more. I don't know what it is then, mate. I'll have to do some digging and find out. What channel is it on? Where do I find it? Is it on Netflix? Is it on a different channel? Tell me whereabouts it is and I'll check it out. Krabby said he played the recorder. Does that count? Yeah, I play the recorder as well, mate. I think that is everybody, isn't it? Everybody kind of has to play the recorder at school. I wonder if is that like a British thing as well, or an English thing, playing the recorder at school, or is that something that you Americans do as well, or you Australians? Do you all like learn to play the recorder? It definitely feels like it's an English thing. John Estel says tabletop standard violin player. I don't even think I was tabletop standard, mate, to be fair. I think I was bog and basement standard. To be fair, I do remember we played like some like concert thing, and I was so bad. I remember like fake hitting the bow with the strings. I actually like didn't even touch the strings because I knew if I played it would sound awful. So I just kind of stood there, just moving my arm backwards and forwards. So it looked like to the crowd, it looked like I was playing. That might have been the moment where they just went, it's not for him. Like, let's get him out of here. Super Pumpkin Man says I started playing the trumpet and switched to violin. I like the violin so much. I enjoy music like you and your brother had like guitar lessons, didn't you, for years? And you were both good players, and it was really nice to hear you playing. But all it did really was kind of make me jealous. That I wish I'd kind of like stuck at it when I was younger, really, and learned an instrument. I think to try and learn now would be. It would be a lot harder, I think. Is an old man trying to learn to play? I don't know what that voice was like, but
straight out of D&D, that one.
Well, see, in Esme, I'm embarrassed about doing doing voices, but we didn't do voices, so it's fine. So I can do an old man voice, a really decrepit old man voice. That's about it, because I'm almost a really decrepit old man. That's why. Palmsy saying everybody played the recorder, mate. Luke's back says, what did he miss? I think we've been taught about playing the recorder, mate. David Moffat says, Canadians get British humour, but not all Canadians understand British dialect and slang. Yeah, do you have like slang in Canada and stuff as well? I never think about Canadians as having like a very... Like you get some quite strong Canadian accents, which I guess the stereotypical Canadian thing is people saying like a boot, isn't it? Like the whole South Park movie thing, like that. That's kind of like the stereotypical one. But I don't know kind of how widespread kind of like slang is and stuff like that, like slang words or slang phrases. I think what's weird is the size of the UK and just how many accents and how many weird words there is basically that we use. But I think we've talked about that before. George is saying I played the violin at Royal Albert Hall in his teens. Brighton Youth Orchestra. Went to France, Canada, and America with them too. Great experience. George, I'm impressed, mate. It's put my fake playing right to shame there, hasn't it? George, sorry, we just had that one. Barry says, have you considered the drums? That's awesome. I had a nun in kindergarten tell me I had no musical aptitude. Maybe she was right. Didn't put me off though. Yeah, that was it. Have you thought about playing the drums? Super Pumpkin Man says, no one I knew in school played recorders. It was like, I don't know why, but it was one of those things that like basically in school, I think it was because they were cheap and they just had like a big box full of them, and everybody basically sort of, that was the first musical instrument you learned to play. And then basically you kind of, if you had any kind of musical ability, you almost progressed from the recorder to the violin. That was the way it worked when I was a kid at school.
What, you managed to get the violin?
I managed to get to the violin, but I think basically I must have, I might have faked my way through
right.
through recorder as well. To be fair, I think. Yeah, I think that was it. Tim Kelly says, same, forced to play recorder at first school, and if you accidentally forgot your recorder, you were made to pretend with a bloody ruler. Pretend with a ruler. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm surprised they didn't give me a ruler instead of a violin, to be fair, mate. That might have been better on everybody's ears. John says it's ukulele now in lots of schools. Yeah, I've heard that as well. Did you guys used to play ukulele, didn't you? Mm-hmm. I seem to remember that. Ukuleles have become the new recorder, eh? Wow. There you go. Shadowcat says, if you want a cool song, search for I Am Murloc. Right, I have to remember that, mate. I'll have to remember it. Parsival saying, night all, stay safe. Thank you very much, Parsival. Take care. Tim says, same for... Oh, yeah, we've just been talking about... Phil Tallhurst says, I'm 48 and learning the ukulele. Never too old. There you go, Phil Tallhurst. Putting me to shame then. Maybe that might be my new hobby then. I do have a... there is an acoustic guitar in my house that you and your brother tend to play, but I don't. I think I know how to change a string. That's about as good as I get with a guitar. I don't think I could tune it though, to be fair. Adam Edgar's in as well. Good day, Legends. Good morning, future boy. How you doing? Mighty Joe's in as well. Can't play any instruments. Yeah, that's two of us. David Moffat says, yeah, we do, you hoser. There you go. I've got no idea what being a hoser is. I'm not even sure I want to ask now, mate. Jimmy Newton says, I have to learn to play the ukulele since lockdown started. Nice one, mate. Trying to get your creative side going, eh? David saying most of his slang is shared with American slang. That would make sense. Mark Colley says, I knew I was shit at music school. I was given the triangle to play. Is that like the kind of like the musical equivalent of like if you go to like drama class and they go, would you like to do makeup? Would you like to do everyone's makeup for the school play? Do you want to paint the scenery? That kind of stuff. Yeah, I remember that stuff. Barry says, never too late to start playing as long as you're having fun. Yeah, that's it, mate. It's just about having fun. I'll have to get you to start giving me lessons.
Nah, I'm alright.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for your support. Christian, thank you very much for sharing the link there for the t-shirts and the hoodies. This is the new design, which you can't see. Let me go here. This is the new design on the Teespring store at the moment. Rocking it with the little tiny little BlackJack Legacy logo there. So yeah, get your merch. Get your merch. Peter says Zombo was ITV2. He thinks story about two sisters and associated friends in the Birmingham canals when a zombie outbreak occurs. It's a miracle if they survive. They're so daft. I'll have to watch that, mate. Not Stock Series because they were so cheap, but horrendous. I came across a ridiculous instrument recently, the nose flute. I have seen this on TV before, a nose flute. Have you ever heard of a nose flute?
No.
Can you imagine from the name what it is?
Mm-hmm.
The flute that you play with your nose. Can you you wouldn't want them at school, would you? Passing them around after somewhere.
Oh, God.
Playing that with their nose. Krabby says level 1 recorder, level 2 violin, level 3 cello, level 4 drums, level 5 guitar. Is that what you got to, mate? Is that where you got to different levels, or do you think that's just the pecking order of instruments? I wonder if I just had anger issues at school. That was why they told me to go and play the drums. They were worried in case I would break a violin, maybe. Maybe that was it. Mighty Joe. No, Mighty Joe's agreeing with Barry. Yeah, that's right. Mark Flanagan. Good evening, Mark. How are you doing? Said we're forced to stand in the middle of town hall as a 10-year-old, play a little donkey on the violin wearing a donkey outfit for our annual when I was in the boys' brigade. Bloody scarred for life. I bet every Christmas comes around and you hear little donkey and you just start twitching and having nightmares again. Is that what happens, mate? I can imagine that would scar you for life. It would definitely give me some nightmares, that's for sure. Super Punky Man said his school made him buy or rent our own instruments. It was the same for his three sisters. I think basically we got to kind of borrow one, but then it was almost like you'd arrived when your parents bought you your own recorder. Like when you got your own recorder and you didn't have to borrow one from school, you were like I'm one of the cool kids now. I've got my own recorder, man. Times were different, Adam. Times were different. You didn't have Jordans back then. Having your own recorder was the height of cool. That's how you knew you were down with the cool kids. Never mind rocking a pair of Off-Whites. Things are different. Different times, son. Different times. Adam saying they learned recorder in Australia too. Yeah. Maybe it's not. It just felt like it should be a British thing. Maybe it was. Maybe it was like a world. Isn't it amazing that everyone learns the recorder, but like the only time you ever hear anybody play a recorder is in like a school play at Christmas or something like that. Like it's like you don't listen to like some famous track and go, oh, the recorders in that are fantastic, aren't they? Who's that recorder player? Like, yeah. So why is it recorder that we keep listening to? KC Board Gamers, nice to see you, KC. Says, just in the last 2 months, just finished painting his copy of HeroQuest. Nice one, mate. Nice to see some HeroQuest love as well. Nice to see some old copies getting some brush love. Getting a bit of paint on them. Scott saying, right, got to go, folks. Wife's 40th. Happy birthday to Mrs. Longworth. And thanks for coming in, Scott. Catch you later, buddy. George says, we had a choice, recorder or violin. Mum paid 6 old pence for a lesson. Wow. Where are we up to again? Scott's in there. Andy, can you wish my wife Amanda a happy birthday, mate? Of course I can, mate. Happy birthday, Amanda. Thank you very much for putting up with Scott. You deserve a medal, not a birthday present. So yes, happy birthday. Daniel says, sorry I missed it. How do we enter to win? You need to be a Patreon, mate. So anybody that is already a Patreon and was a Patreon when I hit 100 Patreons is entered, even if they are no longer a Patreon, because they were basically the initial 100 kind of believers, if you like, in what I was trying to do. And then now basically I am finishing painting this setup. Oops. And as soon as it is finished painted, there will be a draw. So if you're a member of the Patreon, and to give you an idea of timescales, it should be done in the next month. So if you are a member of the Patreon, when I say that's it, the draw is happening, then you will be entered into the draw. You can be a Patreon for $2 a month. What I'm essentially trying to do here is I'm trying to give back to the people that support me to enable me to get to where I am now. And it's also a little encouragement if anybody's on the fence or you're not really sure about it. From $2 a month, you can give it a try and see what it's all about, and see basically kind of think of it as buying a raffle ticket, essentially, kind of thing. Just try it for a month, see what you think of it, and if it's not for you, feel free to drop out. But I'm just trying to kind of give a little bit of extra encouragement for folks to come and try it and see. Check out the Discord, check out the podcasts, see the kind of the other bonus stuff you get. There's discount in the merch store, so if you want to pick up a T-shirt, it might be like you might end up actually getting a free month, if you like, in the Patreon, because you save that money when you're buying a T-shirt. Those kind of things. So yeah, that's all I'm trying to do. Encourage folks to come and check it out. Even if you only come and just click the link to Patreon just to go and see what it is, what it's all about, then that would be nice just to see you've checked it out. Super Pumpkin Man says, Andy, if you learn the ukulele, you need a Hawaiian shirt. Are you trying to suggest that I look like that really massive guy that died, the one that sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow? Forget what he's called now. You know what I mean, don't you? Somewhere over the rainbow. That singing wasn't good as Krabby's. Rick Astley, that's for sure. I had Krabby was on a live stream with me once, like he kind of like across Skype, and for some reason started singing like "Never Gonna Give You Up." So there you go. Blizzaz said they almost made me hate music with those recorders. Thankfully, I discovered Queen and Freddie saved my soul. I bet Freddie Mercury played a recorder when he was a kid. Maybe the musical gene passes from the recorder to one person every 1,000, something like that. There's some kind of return on investment of all kids having to play the recorder. There's nothing more painful as well than kids learning to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Christian there, thank you for answering Daniel's question there as well. Krabby says, are you telling us you wear makeup? Because it's okay to be honest about these things. I tell you what, mate, if I wore makeup, I would look a lot better on camera than I do these days, that's for sure. No, mate, no. I'm makeup free, thank you very much, mate. Not that there's a problem with it, but I'm not quite. Isn't there a name for male makeup?
I don't know.
Is it called like? I've heard something on TV about it before, like I can't remember now. I've heard it on TV. Like there's like a proper name for like man's makeup, because apparently it's quite a. You probably know better than me.
How would I know this?
Not because you wear it, just because you're younger. So, like, I think this whole kind of Only Ways Essex generation of people have made it kind of a bit more acceptable for men to wear, like, fake tan and makeup and stuff like that. I don't think it's come as far north as the northeast, does it? It must be definitely a down south type of thing. Coats haven't come this far north. Never mind makeup for men. John Estel says, I played the claves. Two wooden sticks you hit together in a Morris dancing band. I don't mean to be flippant, John. Is there much musical ability in banging two sticks together? Is it like do you hit them in different bits to get different sounds? It's not. I'm blown away by you, mate. I didn't even know that was a musical instrument, mate. I'll be fair. Mighty Joe here. Nice to see you, Mighty Joe. And Daniel saying, yeah, thanks, Christian. Already a member. Yeah, I thought you were, bud. Hoser might reference people who steal gas using a hose, or it's an anglicised form of the French called Americans. No one is quite certain. Wow. Phil Millard, thank you very much, mate. Pledging there on the Patreon. Thank you. And he gets that. All right. There you go. Super Pumpkin Man says, nose flute sounds so gross. Yeah, it sounds awful, buddy, doesn't it? Lord Maiden said, I've just finished the last main cat from Crumpton. Pictures are on the Discord if people would like to see. I would love to see them. I'll check them out in a bit. David Moffat said a lot of our insults involve being called American. I think that's generally quite a big thing, isn't it? Because I think I think pretty much most people, especially from the UK, if they hear an accent from kind of like North America, they just assume you're American. It's like, there's not like, oh, I'm a Canadian. It's just everyone, even in movies, when even like famous Canadians, people like Ryan Reynolds, to our ears, all sound like Americans anyway. So maybe that's just how their voices they've changed over time. Adam says sharing nose flutes is not COVID safe, Boris. I tell you what, I bet recorders is the first thing that gets banned when schools go back properly in the new term. There'll be no recorders. They'll all be dunked in a bucket of disinfectant.
They're going back to the ukulele.
Krabby saying, no, that's just how it was at schools. Most kids don't get past level 2. Yes. George is saying, nice new tea design. Might have to buy one. Thank you, mate. John Estel just said something and then it jumped off the top of my screen. All I can remember is the taste of disinfectant on school recorders. It's funny that, mate, because I think it was on, what was it I saw it on? Peter Crouch, the football player, has got like a show on BBC at the minute called Peter Crouch Saves Our Summer, right? And it's obviously because of all the sport that's missing and stuff. And he was, or somebody that was on the show was talking about all of the recorders being in like a bucket, like when he was at school, right? And I was thinking, I don't remember our recorders ever getting cleaned. We must have just been passing so many jokes. I don't remember any of our recorders getting cleaned. So yeah, maybe it was the posh schools, John. Maybe it was just the posh schools that cleaned the recorders. That sounds like the kind of thing that would happen at somewhere but my school. Right, let's get a bit of Temple Guard blue on this on the clothing, brighten it up a little bit. Brian Sheen says, "What's the paint handle you are using?" This, sorry, I'm just seeing VJ's comment there. This is the Redgrass Games version 2 paint handle. You won't be able to see it over there, and I think it's in a box. And essentially, it is a paint handle. You can kind of hold like this. The top is twistable, so you can kind of turn it. And kind of as you're painting, and the upgrade of this over the original ones is that these tops come off and you buy spare tops so you can have all your minis lined up ready to go and just pop them on. The other advantage to these ones as well is they also come with this little sticky metallic base, so you can like kind of like stick it to your bench, and then you can put that on its magnetic, and it stops you knocking it over, which is quite cool. And I moved it out of the way. Otherwise, I said to Adam, I said, I'll be sitting here all night going, and you'll just keep clicking on this on the stream all night. So that was why I moved it out of the way. VJ says that donkey story wins today's stream. Like I agree. That's comment of the night. That one, comment of the night. That was a hell of a story. As if it's not bad enough having to stand in front of a crowd and play a recorder. Dressed as a donkey would definitely give me scars. Barry Clive, I knew somebody would know this. Barry Clive says, isn't it a recorder in Stairway to Heaven? Maybe that's why they always say don't play it when you go into a guitar shop. Don't play it. Somebody will come out with a recorder. don't play it. Maybe that's the reason why. Krabby says when he was 11, his best mate started learning double bass, and I distinctly remember asking him why he had a massive guitar and asking him if he knew you'd get smaller ones. I remember there was a girl at my school, quite a posh girl, and she played double bass. And I remember her like kind of carrying it on her back, like going to school on the bus with this massive double bass on her back, and it was just like, what's going on here? It looked like there was a double bass going to school carrying a small girl. It was that big. Simon Parfit, what about the cowbell? All I can hear is the cowbell during Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper after the Saturday Night Live comedy sketch. That is one of my favourite sketches, that one. Have you seen that one, mate? It's got here's where my brain goes again.
Oh god.
Comedian was in my brain tonight. He was in Talladega Nights, the Legend of Ricky Bobby. He was in it doesn't matter.
I'm not going to be able to help you here.
Comedian in it, basically, just watch it. I'm not even going to try and explain because I can't remember people's names tonight. My brain is absolutely puzzled tonight. It'll come back to me. Anyway. And before it does, somebody will be screaming it in the chat right now. So, yeah, we'll pick that up when somebody tells me who it was again. Stotty's Mind says, Cave says, I can't even play a dog whistle. Super Pumpkin Man says, I know what you mean about that stuff growing up. In Texas at Christmas, they made us sing Feliz Navidad, and I don't know any Spanish, so I have no idea what the heck I was singing. Yeah, Barry Clever, gotta have more cowbell, yes. David Moffat says, I thought they were saying police kill me dad in the Boney M version of the song. Oh god, that's probably quite topical these days.
Oh god.
God, we really out behind the chat, aren't we? Somebody's just telling me the name of that the big guy with the ukulele, Israel Kamako. I can't even pronounce it. Yes, that's the one. Thank you, Christian, or just Izzy. I will say Izzy. George says, how many BlackJack minis? How many? Mark Flanagan pledged on the Patreon as well. Thank you very much, Mark Flanagan. I should be pledging to you, mate, with stories like Little Donkey. Thank you very much, buddy. I really appreciate that. How many have I got left to paint? I've got George Adset as well. Thank you. Thank you very much, George. Awesome. I have got the femurs left to paint. So I think there's 4 of them, or 3 of them. And I have one of the hero models left to paint. I might actually keep the it's not the hero model, it's the gargoyle model. I might keep the gargoyle model left for a live stream, I think. Barry saying male makeup is called makeup. I was like, why are you asking me? Oh yeah, there was exactly, Anna's with me, there you go. There was some kind of metrosexual as a term a while back. Yeah, I remember. Was it called like Manscara or something like that? It was something really weird. I remember hearing it on TV. Awesome. Thank you very much, folks. Pomsy said, I lived in the south. We had enough money to buy our own recorders. Tim says that moment when you're painting a mini and not feeling it, and then you do a small detail or something minor and pow, that's the best. Do you know what it is, mate? You are completely right there. There's a point I'm at that point now when I'm painting these, where basically you get to a point where you go, I am ballsing this up something rotten. Like it's not really coming together yet. And all it'll take is like a little highlight or sometimes a wash, or you'll paint the base or something like that, and it all just pulls together. And until you get to that point, you feel like you're kind of you're fighting a losing battle. You just got to keep going, and eventually it'll just all start to kind of fall into place. But yeah, you're right, mate. When that happens, it's like you've just scored a goal. VJ says, looking forward to getting his Red Grass Games handle. I hate having to change minis on the GW handles. Yeah, to be honest, mate, I know loads of people who've ended up buying like loads of GW minis handles for that reason, and at like £5 a shot, I ain't. As Dan would say, I ain't paying them prices. Yeah, but I'm liking these Red Grass ones. The only complaint I had from the original one was that basically I would have had to buy multiple ones of it, because they kind of stuck to this kind of like putty stuff that you get with it. You have to actually get a hold of the mini to kind of pull it off, to change it over, and if you've just been painting it, you don't really want to be doing that. So it was really nice to get these ones with the replaceable heads on them. So Adam, this is your first ever live stream, mate. You see the kind of random crap that we talk about. Have you had a good night so far? Mm-hmm. It's been all right, isn't it? It's good. It's nice to hear the kind of stuff that comes out. Will Ferrell, thank you very much. That's when I know I've caught up with the chat, when the name comes back. It's only about 6 seconds behind. Like what folks are saying now is about 6 seconds behind what I'm saying it. So when I don't get the message for like 5 or 10 minutes, that's just because like I'm too far down. Paul Inman says, American comedy's gotten a lot better. Some of their stand-up are miles better than ours. People like Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle put BBC comedy to shame. Yeah, I must admit, I do like a bit of Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle as well. Dave Chappelle's Netflix special thing, which was, is it called Sticks and Stones or something like that, is really, really funny. It's really good. He got a bit of grief for some of the things that he says in it, but I think it's kind of some of it. I think some of the things that people get upset about is sometimes taken a little bit out of context, and comedy is subjective, isn't it? So yeah, it's but I'm a big fan. I like that. Who was I watching the other day? Somebody in stand up. Here we go. Me trying to remember names again. Somebody on Netflix. Don't worry about it. I'll get there. Yes, Christopher Walken and Will Ferrell. Needs more cowbell. Pomsy says BBC comedy is rubbish, but the best UK stand-ups put the US ones to shame. US comedians rely heavily on race, in my opinion. I do wonder whether that's just a kind of like a symptom of just the culture, if you like, and like I think like America is much more multicultural, I think, than big chunks of the UK. Like where I am in the UK, up in the northeast, it's very much predominantly kind of like white. Basically, because nobody would ever move here. Really, that's the reason. Not because it's a racist thing, because nobody would want to come here. That's why everybody goes to London, where the jobs are. But there's definitely kind of areas in the UK that are like that, I think. Not stuck. I completely forgot my Patreon. Use my real name. Oh, that's it, mate. You've been exposed now. That was it. You must be Phil in that case, mate. Nice to meet you, Phil. Tony saying American stand-up Bill Hicks. Guy Liner. That was it, Simon Parfait. I bet you knew that the whole time and you were thinking, I hope somebody else gets that before I remember it. Guy Liner, that was it. Oh, God, yeah, I remember now. See? I knew there was a name. I knew somebody would pull me out of the doldrums on that one. Thanks, man. Do you know what it is? Never mind Google anymore, right? You don't need to Google stuff. You just need to live stream, and somebody will always have the answer for you. This is my new Google now. I'm just going to start putting my camera on every day, and every time I can't think of something, I'm just going to go, who did that again? It's like having my very own like Alexa, but like for like tens of people. That's a way to do it. I get like lots more Alexas. Adam's saying, according to the internet, more Geordie boys wear makeup than Essex boys. Ooh, according to the internet. Yeah, according to the internet. Yeah. Who says the internet's right? When was the internet ever right before? To be honest, mate, it wouldn't surprise me because I think it's becoming like, well, you would know more than me, Geordie boys. Do any of your college mates ever like that? They're not really into their clothes the same way, are they? Like they're not into. I think you're probably not quite that age yet. I think it's probably more like early 20s when they start. Everybody wants to become a bit hench. Hench is what the kids say, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. a bit muscly and stuff like that, and fake tan and stuff. It wouldn't surprise me, mate. I think that's probably because the weather is so trash here. The only way you get a tan is by putting makeup on. I think that's why. The sun only comes out twice a year here, man. You know, like is it like in I think it's in Finland where they have like times of the year where it never gets dark. we have times of year in Newcastle where the sun refuses to shine, basically. Wargaming Dad, hello to Wargaming Dad. How are you doing, mate? Nice to see you in the chat tonight. Super Pumpkin Man says if we're switching to comedians and TV shows, I've got too many. Yeah. Super Pumpkin Man says some of us are funny, but we are loud. Yes. Tim said Doug's stand-up is great. Yeah, I like Doug's stand-up, but one of the worst shows I've seen. He did barely an hour routine, then sodded off. Angry crowd. Wow. I quite like Doug's stand-up as well. Yeah, obviously Dave Chappelle's great. In my youth, I watched Half Baked until the VHS tape started wearing out. I think the kind of tape like that for me when I was a kid was definitely kind of like Eddie Murphy Raw, which is like, it's a little bit like, it doesn't stand up so well, I think, these days. But and some of his kind of humour is obviously of its time. But yeah, Eddie Murphy Raw and Delirious, I think, were probably like the comedy things from me being a kid, or being younger anyway. Paul Newman says, the other night my neighbour banged on my door at 3 a.m. I couldn't believe it. Luckily I was still playing the drums. I like that, mate. Oh my God. Yeah, tears in my eyes. No, mate, thanks for that, mate. I needed that chuckle tonight. Blizzard says I tend to be rather quiet, actually. Oh. Oh, yeah. David saying he uses his real name here, but Patreon has my old handle. If you please, folks, if you are in the Patreon, there is they're called channels in Patreon, aren't they? You know, the little.
Don't use Patreon.
No, not Patreon. Sorry, Discord.
Discord, yeah.
They're called channels. There is a channel in the Discord chat which basically says, "Who are you?" Right? Please go over there and tell me what your real name is, because there are so many folks who have different names on here versus what they have on Facebook versus what they have in Discord. So please, if you are on there, please head across. It just lets me kind of keep a track on like who's who, basically. Otherwise, you might feel like I'm kind of like what tends to happen is I end up having 3 different conversations with the same person because I've got 3 different names in 3 different places. Red Rose Wargaming says, Adam, have you ever played HOTS?
What?
HOT. It'll be something of the something. Oh, I don't know what that is.
Heroes of the Storm. Heroes
of the Storm. Yeah, probably. Have you played Heroes of the Storm?
A little bit.
A little bit.
It's alright.
Is Heroes of the Storm
It's the Blizzard.
That's what I was going to say. That's where I've seen the name before. It's the Blizzard League of Legends thing, isn't it? Yeah. Cool, mate. No, I've not played it. Mark Zielinski, nice to see you in, mate. How are you doing? Nice to see you. What I go says, what we do in the shadows is comedy well worth checking out. I've not seen it, but I've heard a lot about it. It is pretty cool, from what I understand. Powell Zabrowski's in as well. Good evening, Powell. How are you doing? What was that one I've just seen? Tim Kelly's in. Beds are calling. See you soon, folks. Yeah, take care, mate. I will catch you in the Discord later. 20 people live saying Richard Pryor live on Sunset Strip. And yeah, Eddie Murphy Raw and Delirious were the gold standard. Yeah, they definitely were when I was a kid. Like, it was the whole there's a part of what Eddie Murphy does about this whole thing about him wanting like a McDonald's, and how he's like the so poor, and then his mum's going like, "You don't need no McDonald's. I'll make you a mummy burger," and it's basically like a slice of bread with just like this greasy burger on the top, like just grease hanging out, like running down his arms and stuff, and all the other kids going like, "I got McDonald's, you cannot have it," and it's proper like childish humour, but it just always like makes me chuckle. It's really good. Crowley said he worked in Tromsø for a while in Norway, so no sun from November until February. I've been to Tampere and Nokia in Finland, and it was like that. I stayed in this hotel, and it was like something you see on these kind of like, you know, these like sort of Scandinavian like murder films, or these murder like series where he's just kind of like sitting in bed and it's like it's bright daylight, it just doesn't get dark. What's going on? Marcus said, I think we should just try and make Andy laugh until he falls out of his chair. It probably tickled me, that comment. Falling, man. Comedy gold there, mate. Marcus said, I think we should just try and... Oh, yeah, we just said that one. Daniel Engel, Robin Williams, live on Broadway. Barry Clive Chappelle is awesome. His TV show was so outrageous. He's gotten even better as the years have gone on. He definitely gets the... I get the impression that he does it because he loves it. Like, and he doesn't really care what he says, kind of thing. It's much more about like he just enjoys what he does. I guess he doesn't necessarily kind of need the money anymore now after a bit of a time away. James says Andy's on the laughing cast tonight. It probably tickled me, that, mate. It probably caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting to read that. Whoops, where did that one go? Adam said Arnold Schwarzenegger's Peter Nicholas, my Discord name is Peter Nicholas, so I know it's confusing for you. Yes, thanks, mate. Chris Rock, Bring the Pain. I don't think I've seen that one, mate. And yeah, VJ is telling everybody how to do it. Yeah, that just helps me. Pavel says, I'm new to the wargaming community, just starting out. I just want to play casual with my friends and maybe family. So question is there like any starter set with 2 small armies or enemies to start with? There are plenty, Pavel. It really just depends on what kind of game you like. Are you into like kind of sci-fi games, fantasy games? Do you prefer like more kind of board games, like sort of self-contained, much smaller playing surface? Do you want to grow to kind of big armies? Do you want to try and stay with just maybe like 5 or 6 kind of miniatures each? Do you have a favourite movie, a favourite film kind of thing, something like that I can try and steer you? Because there are lots and lots of options, mate. And you're in the right place to kind of ask these folks, because everybody likes lots of different types of things here as well, not just one kind of game. So if you tell me what kind of things that you're interested in, we can steer you in the right direction. 6 Nerds in the Ice Cream Man is coming, yes. Daniel saying Martin Lawrence in Rundedalt was hilarious as well. I've not seen that as well. People are talking about what we do in the Shadows, the TV series and the movie as well. Matt, throw down some money. Try Beavis Wallace says, my favourite Chuckle Brothers joke is them in bed at night and one goes to the other, what time is it? The other lifts a trombone, blows a few notes, and a voice outside goes, who's blown that trombone at 2:47 in the morning? Oh, that's probably tickle me, that one. Oh, this has been a good stream tonight, folks. I've really enjoyed having a good laugh tonight. It's been really, really good. Mark Lindsay said he'll never finish painting if we knock him off his chair. I'm never going to get this done at this rate. Never going to get it finished. I'm not even putting it on camera. I'm just sitting here painting now while I'm reading the comments. Robin Williams is the snowy 80s was the stuff of legend. I've not seen that one, mate. I've got some comedy referencing to do, I think. Tony Tiger says, people just do nothing is about the only BBC comedy I've enjoyed in recent years. I tell you what I've been enjoying recently, mate, and I've just watched the third season of it last night, is The Young Offenders, about a couple of Irish lads, and that's kind of been proper funny. I've enjoyed that recently. Worth a watch if you haven't seen it. Mark Linsky says, how much time do you have to hobby? Is that a joke as well, mate? To be honest, mate, now I'm doing this full time now. This is my job now, so kind of I've got a lot more time now. which means I'm cracking through a hell of a lot of stuff. The problem is I've got such varied tastes. It's always something different. Tony Boovliden said I have a lot of time for Emo Phillips and Stephen Wright too. Yeah, really interesting sort of alternative comedy, as I suppose they're called. Very droll Stephen Wright as well, isn't he? Yeah, cocaine is God's way of telling you have too much money. How very true. Lord Maiden said, I think the best joke I've seen was Red Dwarf Crichton trying to say Smeghead gets me every time. Have you seen that, mate? Red Dwarf?
No.
Where he's going, Smeghead. That doesn't mean anything to you, but it's funny. Peter says, settle down, Andy, I want to finish my minis tonight. A Man Like Morbeen was pretty funny. I've seen that, like on when you look on the iPlayer and stuff for things to watch. I saw that, but I couldn't really tell what it was or what it was about. Is it worth a watch? Seems so. What are we up to? Pavel says, I mean, it can be really any type of theme, but I'm not a huge fan of Star Wars or zombies. The set should include minifigures for both armies and similar mechanics to Warhammer 40k. Right, mate, in that case, if you kind of like Warhammer 40k, Kill Team is not a bad place to start. You can buy a starter box from that. It has everything you need to get started. 2 small forces. It has terrain. It has a board. It has the rule book. So Kill Team is probably not a bad place if 40k is something that you're interested in. If it's sci-fi in general, there are a number of different games. Dead Zone is another good game. A bit of a lower entry point, a bit more cost effective if you're just starting out. Anything else I would recommend? They're probably kind of a couple of kind of go-to if you're looking for like sort of 2-player starter sets, because they are games that literally have everything in to get you started. Palmsy saying, what happened to the guy in Police Academy with the weird voice? Yeah, he just seemed to kind of disappear, didn't he? Oh, I was thinking the one that used to do the strange voices. I know exactly who you mean now. He had like a really high pitched voice, didn't he? Like really strange. James Brace says, I think Gervais is the best around at the moment. I like Ricky Gervais, to be fair. He's definitely my kind of humour. Sorry, Mark was asking. Yes, Mark was asking the question about how much time do you have to hobby. Sorry, man. And yeah, Pomsey's saying, yeah, not the beatboxer guy. No, I forget what he's called now. I need you just on Google, mate. Just keep me right. I'm just going to feed you questions. Peter says Adam seems to be the quieter of the twins, so is he the brainy one? Yes, yeah, he's a smart kid. Yeah, he's a bright one. He's just less interested in talking to his dad. That's what it is. Bobcat Gold, that was him. Yes. Goldthwaite, that's the one. Yeah, Bobcat Goldthwaite. That was the name I was trying to remember. That was the fella. Right. How are we doing for time? Let's see where we're up to. 10 to 11. Right, I think what I'll do is I'll finish these metallics up to about 11 o'clock. We'll wash the brushes out, and then we'll call it a night on them ones, because I'm not too far away from a point where I'll kind of stop. He's a director. Is he really? Jeff says, I think he's dead, and then, I guess not. He's directing films, I guess he's not dead. Yeah. Did he really talk like that? Or was that whole thing an act? Tony Tiger says, love Gervais and Derek. Yeah, I like Derek as well. My wife wasn't as keen on it. She kind of feels it a little bit cringy, but we both really enjoyed watching him on Afterlife on Netflix. That was a really good show. I enjoyed that. Phil Toller says, how often do you change your water? To be honest, mate, I change it a lot more often when I'm not doing a live stream. Otherwise, it looks like that. It looks like that otherwise. So yeah, I tend to change it more often. Normally on a live stream, I've got more than one pot of water, but tonight I completely forgot. So, but what I do have is I have little droppers with water in to thin my paints down. So I'm only washing my brush in there, and I'm using this to kind of thin paints down. I've got some. So I've got one with thinners in, I've got one with Lamy and medium, and I've got one with water in basically, and I'm just using the pot to rinse the brush out. Peter says Bobcat's voice was just for the police academy role. I'm really glad. I had this horrible feeling that poor guy had had a really kind of bad speech impediment. Pomsy says, I'm calling my son Bobcat now. Yeah, VJ saying Derek is fantastic, so is Afterlife. Yeah, good shows, man. Good shows. If you like Ricky Gervais and you haven't seen Extras is a fantastic show as well, actually. Pomsy said Wikipedia says Bobcat was best friends with Robin Williams. I can completely see that. I can see how that was a combination. Tony saying going to watch Afterlife season 2 after what we do in the shadows. I had this conversation with my wife, and basically I really enjoyed Afterlife season 1, but I felt like it didn't need a season 2. I felt like it had kind of got to a point where it come full circle on the story, and it really ended in a really good place. So I was kind of disappointed to hear there was going to be a second season. However, Tony, you've got a treat, mate. It was fantastic, and I am now looking forward to the third season that's going to be made as well. So, Mark's just saying there as well, the Pavel, there's a new starter set for 40k 9th edition coming out soon as well in the next couple of months. Really kind of inexpensive entry point into 40k. So if 40k is the kind of game that you want to play, mate, why not kind of dip in with this one of the starter boxes for 40k that's coming soon. Peter said, having watched the Robin Williams documentary, it appears he was close to Robin, as was Billy Crystal. Ah, interesting. Still Game, Tony saying, yeah, that's Still Game was a good TV show as well. VJ said, I think my wife watched Extras like 57 million times. Life's Too Short was another one. Yeah, Life's Too Short was good, actually. Yeah, thanks for the night, folks. Joachim saying, thanks for the night. He's heading off. Nice one. Right, I'm going to that's where we kind of up to tonight, folks. We've got the bulk of the I was painting 6 of these, to be fair, so I've kind of been plodding through, but to be fair, the chat's been distracting me tonight. We got pretty much got the base colours down. I kind of have a little bit of finishing off to do, paint the base up, and I'll tidy those up tomorrow and finish them off to a decent level. But yeah, I'll switch across to this screen while I wash my brushes out. So Adam, how was that?
It's alright.
You look knackered, mate. Are you tired?
A little bit.
You look like you're going to go to sleep. Do you want to stay at the end, or do you want to head off now?
I'm alright, I'm just chill.
You cool? Mm-hmm. You alright? Nice one. Yeah, so thank you very much, folks. I'm just cleaning my brushes. If anybody's got any bits of questions or anything like that while I'm just tidying up, thank you very, very much to the new Patreons tonight. I really do appreciate your support. Hopefully we'll see you in the Discord chat as well, and I'll be able to have a bit more conversation back there, get to know you all a little bit better as well. Where else are we doing? Yeah, Nostock saying check the Warhammer community site. They've got images of all the 3 different starter sets. There's three new ones coming out basically that are should be out in the next kind of couple of months, I would imagine. Tony says cracking job tonight, Adam. Well done, mate. You kept me sane anyway, mate. You kept me company as well, so that's much appreciated, buddy. Krabby says, have you started your Indomitus yet? I have, mate. Yeah, I've built all the Necrons up. I've built one of the Outriders for the Space Marines. So yeah, I've been kind of plodding away with them in the background a little bit as well. Kind of in amongst a million other bits of projects that I need to get stuff done for filming. Marcus says, oh man, I could not say what my favourite Billy Crystal film would be. VJ says, no questions, bud, but time to get your wriggle on with the mini swap, mate. Yeah, I have. To be honest, mate, the problem I've got is I don't really have like loads of like spare minis that I've had something that to specifically kind of do something to the theme to do for Scott. I need to kind of find something, mate. So I'll get him sorted, mate. Don't worry. If you want to start the new one, start without me, mate, and I'll make sure I kind of catch up and get Scotty's mini done. Luckily, he's a local boy, so I haven't got far to send it. VJ saying, great co-host, Adam. Fist bump. Thank you very much. Mark Fanigal says, great stuff, brilliant show on community. Been on lurking for a while. Nice to say hi. Thank you very much, Mark, and thanks for joining in with a Patreon as well. It'll be cool to get to know you a bit better as well. Peter says, the video of 40k new starter set shows content. It's various characters and squads for encounters. Yes, that's right. Crowley says, what's your thoughts on the Necron models? I really like them, mate. I'm really impressed, to be fair. In fact, let me just... if I can move them across without dropping them all. Oh, here we go.
You want a hand?
No, I've just managed it there, mate. I should have really just asked for a hand, shouldn't I? Let me go down to top-down camera here. I think this one, I forget, I don't know their names yet, but I think this model here is probably my favourite so far. Let me just zoom out a little bit so I can get them in shot. I think this one's probably my favourite one so far. I just love the sort of the detail and the stance on it and stuff, so I'm quite impressed with that one. I think these dudes are pretty cool too. See, I don't really know the names of them yet and stuff, but I was quite impressed with how they go together. Really, I think they're really nice, really nice. And to be fair, I like the warrior models as well. I'm quite looking forward to getting these painted up. Can you pass me, Adam? There should be a Necron model there with the one that's on the base. That's the one. That one there, mate. Yeah. So I had some old Necron models, and I thought I'd do a bit of a test scheme to see how I was going to do them. This is really kind of rough and ready, but essentially I think that's how I'm going to do my Necrons in that kind of scheme. So let me just get a bit so you can kind of see the colours on them. So I think that's how my Necrons are going to be, mate. But yeah, I like them. I like the models. Could you pop that just back on that box for me, because I'll drop them otherwise. Thank you very much, mate. So yeah, that's those, mate. That's those. Pavel said he also looked at Warhammer Underworlds. To be honest, mate, Warhammer Underworlds is a fantastic starter box. It's not too expensive as well for kind of just dipping your toe in and giving it a try. And it's the models are just kind of push fit stuff as well, so you don't have to be sort of kind of too skilled in your hobby and stuff if you're just getting started. And yeah, it's a fun game. It's a fun game as well. It's not Warhammer 40k. It's not like you're not measuring distance to move and stuff like that. It's much more reliant upon like a card game, if you like. But yeah, it's not a bad place to start, bud. Peter says you need an orange rod for that guy. Yeah, those are the old ones, mate. The new ones don't have the rods. So the new one, I'll kind of highlight orange bits into the weapons themselves. Wow, is that how far behind that is there? That must have stopped at some point. Where are we up to? Scorpec Destroyers. Thanks, mate. Yeah, that's the ones. Jeff says, having a chat there as well. Krabby says, nice, mate. Looking forward to seeing them. Yeah, I should blast through them pretty quick. I think I'm going to use them to do like a bit of a challenge video, really, to see how fast I can kind of get them painted, really. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, mate. Pomsy saying there, yeah, Underworlds is great from a hobby perspective. It's cheap. You get a few minis and boards and tokens and that. It's alright. It is alright. And with that, folks, we're at 11 o'clock, just after. I think we'll call that a night. Thank you, Adam, for coming in and hanging out tonight, keeping me company. Nice to have, rather than sitting here on my Todd all night as well. And thank you for your musical inputs as well, what you're up to. Thank you to everybody that's been in tonight. Thank you to everybody that pledged as well. It's not too late if you are interested in winning my fully painted copy of HeroQuest. Please check out the Patreon. I will be drawing it from Patreon members. So if you want to win it, you need to be a Patreon. So thank you very much for that. Night to anyone that's been in new tonight as well. Really do appreciate seeing some new faces. And I will see you all next Monday, next Monday's live stream. So thanks for coming in. Catch you all later. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month, and there is lots of different tiers and bonuses which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.